Hey!
Oh.
And we are live, I think, yeah?
Yeah,
We're
live,
good.
live.
Welcome to episode 11 of Legends of Avantris, where we six nerds embarrass ourselves for your entertainment. We will be streaming a 5th edition homebrew campaign. We've been hashtag we apostrophe. That's our new meme. We have the best followers. Thanks guys. Thanks guys. Yeah, and it's true. Very true. So we have been doing this campaign for over 2 years now, and the party's only level 7. So it's going to be a long one, ladies and gentlemen. We stream Wednesdays for this campaign, and I guess we can just start by going around the table and introducing the players. And then we'll start our party. We'll start with Rodek Stonehearth, played by Richie over here. He's a mountain dwarf fighter looking for mysteries of a horn relic that he has from his past. We have Ganji Stormscale. He also wrote as a battle master. Ganji is a bronze dragonborn war cleric of Bahamut. He is seeking dragonborn artifacts to help his people's war. We then have Sylvie Flickerwicket, a forest gnome warlock with Pact of the, rather an Arcfade patron. I always mess that up. Pact of the Chain. And she had made a bargain with the Arcfade Titania in order to get warlock powers, and she is serving the Summer Court through dreams in which things are communicated. We then have Annulin Mossgrove, played by Kelsey. She is a wood elf ranger. She is seeking ways to best save her mother from slavery. She's enslaved by fire giants, at least we think so. And she's looking for ways to save her.
We think so.
We think so.
Write that down. We
then have...
I say you, she did.
I say you, she did. We then finally have Vandra's True Strike, played by Andy. But Scotes, Nikki, Kelsey, I think I'll do this. I'm really good at this, guys. Andy plays Vandra's True Strike. I'm spilling spaghetti all over the place. We have Vandra's True Strike, a high elf rogue, a bounty hunter. He is with a party seeking the very dangerous tiefling sorcerer known as Orpheus of Adamanthes, who we finally saw for the second time in the campaign, 2-year campaign, last session. Had an epic
He's the big baddie.
Had an epic confrontation, a big baddie at least. An epic confrontation, he managed to escape. But they are figuring out ways in which to trace him, and I'm Mikey. I write fan fiction and roll dice. And I'm a Dungeon Master. Just some housekeeping rules. We use mostly rules as written, but we do a good amount of homebrewing. A lot of rules is fun, so feel free to complain in Twitch chat. The big exciting thing, we're reinstating giveaways. We're reinstating giveaways. We have these delightful vinyl stickers right down here.
Or one of your choosing.
We have class icons. We have the D20. We also have the 5e logo, the ampersand and the dragon. And we also...
You can see on our overlay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can see the overlay there. And then we also actually have a sticker of Hootsie, the owlbear companion from the Call of the Feywild campaign.
Through. Look at that cutie.
Yeah, she's a cutie pie there. The owlbear companion of Bricko Grimgrin from the other campaign. So we have a few giveaways of your choice. And so the way that we'll do it, just watch us, and then at a certain point we'll give a word for you to say. And
in
so
chat.
On Twitch. So if you're watching on Facebook, feel free to watch it on Facebook, but make sure to get ready to use Twitch chat. And please like and subscribe on our Twitch page.
Look at subscribers.
And we will basically, you'll say that word, and then we'll randomly select the winner, and then we'll figure out the details. And this is only for people in the continental U.S. Sorry for anyone outside. It's just not feasible, but we appreciate you watching. Anyway, we love you guys.
Yeah.
I'm loving the Pee Wee Herman vibe. That's amazing.
Yeah, the Pee Wee Herman vibe.
Pee Wee Herman vibe?
The secret word that you have to say. Screaming yells, and then you win prizes, and it's all very exciting. Okay, I'm glad that I'm the only one who has anything up with Pee Wee Herman.
I'm so sorry.
Your age there, bub.
I know he went to jail for masturbating in the theater.
That is also true.
Another housekeeping note.
The only thing I know about is that he did that voice in
Our mods will be monitoring the chat. If you're caught masturbating in the theater, you'll be removed from the chat.
Removed from the chat. Keep it
I'm not
off
fucking
camera.
with force.
Or you
Ta-da-da.
might. No, I'm not gonna say
So
that.
real quick, bringing it back to the contest, we'll be giving out 3 over the course of the night. It's not going to happen all at once. So we're going to spread it out a little bit, and then we'll just figure if it feels like a good time to give away a sticker, we will.
Yeah.
And then if you don't win the first one, you have a second chance and a third chance
and
throughout the night.
so I make them. They're Sylvie specials, and they're not all just black. So if you guys like the D20 is glittery and pink, if you want pretty colors, I do pretty colors.
You can pick your color.
I do holographic vinyl stickers. So there's lots of fun. Ooh.
And other note, this is intended for mature audiences. We may use naughty language. There may be
like masturbation.
I'll never tell.
no, we tend to use naughty language. We tend to have vivid descriptions of gore occasionally, especially in the other campaign. And we just kind of have a good time. And so, just if there are any kiddos, sorry.
Yeah.
And with that, I think we're ready.
Hide your wife, hide your kids.
Yeah, hide your wife, hide your kids. I think we are ready to
Thanks, Folly.
begin with what happened last time. So let me get
Let's
my
do
music
it.
going. I need to.
What happened last time is that Avantris is about to die again.
I wonder how. Did we say how much damage he took from that punch?
It was like 4.
Oh, okay, I was hoping it was like half your
I
health.
noted it down.
Okay,
He actually died from the punch.
that would have been
So,
hilarious.
some people call him a one-punch man.
He then died. So, last episode on Legends of Avantris. Previously, the city had been attacked by the Lockjaw Crooks, a band of lizard folk, of crocodilian lizard folk pirates. The town guard was wholly unprepared for a full-scale assault that we saw. These were not just tribal lizard folk in coming out of the swamp. They were boosted by magic and strange potions and the like. They had a armada of giant vulture mounts, and they were attacking the city ruthlessly with huge, not cannonballs because there's no gunpowder, but magical flaming meteor type things. The party fought their way through the city. They knew that they had to get to the Egg of Eternity, given the significance that it had, and they thought that if Orpheus was attacking, that he'd be heading there. And they fought their way. They encountered Reeve Brockma, the youngest of the Silver Serpents, the rulers of Gullhaven. And he was being dragged away by a huge pirate. They managed to kill all the pirates that were capturing him. They saved his life. They sprinted to the museum, the Egg of Eternity, and they were encountered by King Krem the Cruel, the enormous Captain King of the Lockjaw Crooks. It looked like the aftermath of a raiding of Vito Velocinek, the artificer of the Silver Serpents, of his museum and his personal collection, and he had pilfered a strange artificer gun of some kind, and he was actually going to murder one of the Silver Serpents, Amalia Theramore. Thanks to some quick thinking from Sylvie and some use of Dimension Door, she was actually saved. And
Seriously.
And then finally Orpheus Radamanthus revealed himself and took a helm with gems that he had stolen from the very, very beginning of the campaign. He completed the artifact, gave it to Diadra Tidehunter, the Genasi that they had previously encountered, and she summoned an enormous dragon turtle.
I thought she's a Genasi.
She's a Genasi, yeah.
Oh, I thought she was a Triton.
She's not a Triton.
I'm
she's
gonna
a Genasi.
not have that in my notes anymore.
It's fine. So they encountered her. She summoned a dragon turtle with the helm, and an enormous two-headed vulture creature basically used its wings to blow the whole party away and gave the 3 major villains time to escape. And they reference heading back to a temple on the island. Which island it is. They then referenced that it was called Undertow Isle, which is the home of of these lizard folk. It was actually in the.
I wrote that down.
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah. I just had.
So once that happened, the pirates made a full break out of the city. They ran. They realized they had to get out by sunset, and they all escaped. And then the Seagulls, the town guard, the military of this city, managed to take back the city. There was a lot of loss of life. They basically got arrests. They started assessing the damage, and then in trying to find Seamus, Lear, Avantris' longtime companion.
Platonic life partner.
Platonic life partner, yeah.
He found out that he had been holed up in the safe house of someone that Avantris knew in the past, and it was in a safe house in the Kench, one of the rough and tumble district in the Kench, and they made their way there. They then found the house with the instructions that Seamus gave them. And when they opened the door, a fist flew out. Sylvie managed to knock it off course a little bit, but it managed to clock Avantris in the chin a little bit. And before him was Myriad Devil Dance, a circus performer, which also has relation to Avantris' past. And she's asking, where the fuck is my boat?
It's the most perceptive I've ever been while being hit in the face.
For the record, her boat is fucking dead.
Yeah.
Her boat is fucked, by the way.
We should not tell her that right away.
We're not able seamen.
This was all.
Well, speak for
Where's it at?
yourself, Rhoda. I am the ablest of seamen.
Oh, yeah, okay. Well,
So-
didn't work out.
Alright.
We'll start the
After
session.
being hit in the face, I will stand up, brush myself off, look at Myriad in the eye and say, well, it's good to see you again, too.
And as he says that, Sylvie's gonna peek her head around from behind him as she's clutching onto his chest. Whoa! Watch the nose, lady!
I don't care who you are. Avantris, answer my fucking question.
I pass a bag of popcorn to Rodek.
I do one of these, jokingly, and I start eating.
I mean,
So,
cast
are you
polymorph and turn
not,
into a frog.
happy that we brought Seamus home in one piece at all?
And lost his entire fucking in the first place?
We didn't really have anything to do with the inn, to be honest. We did our best to stop what we could, and quite frankly, I think we did a fantastic job. And I already told Seamus that we were going to do what we could to help him get back on his feet.
You didn't answer the question about the boat.
Okay, so as far as the boat goes, I'm sure that you are very aware of the events that have been transpiring, within the city within the last few hours or so, and some of us have been very busy protecting the townspeople. I'm going to roll deception to tell her that the boat was destroyed in the onslaught of the attack.
The entire time he's doing this, Sylvie is still peeking around going like this.
I'm gonna sneak and give him guidance on this deception check. Good luck.
Make a
Be
deception
with
check.
You have add a D4.
1 second, I'm pulling up my character sheet. Holding for suspense. Oh, I get the 1d4. I'm sorry, I'm going to add the d4. Extra suspense. It was one extra.
Of course it was.
The 15 for deception.
She grits her teeth and nods a little bit. Well, except Seamus is here, and I talked to him, and he said the boat was fucked. Days!
Seamus must have been horribly confused after the awful ordeal that you went through.
She tapped her lip and said, would that be because of the horrible sea curse he got on because of you guys?
No,
We
that
also
wasn't our
cured
fault.
that same sea curse.
Look,
Well,
to be fair,
some of us
Look,
cured this
assholes.
curse.
look, bitch. The problem is, this isn't our fault. We're trying to fix this shit. You get in my face one more time and I'll turn you into a fucking toad.
I'm
And
not
then Sylvie looks at her and goes, actually, I'm a little busy. Greater invisible. Realizing her mistake. And I'm going to use greater invisibility immediately after.
She glares at Sylvie and then turns back to Avantris and rolls her eyes. So this is it, huh? This is your new band of merry adventurers. You're gonna get all of these guys killed. You come into town, and then Seamus almost dies to a sea curse. Then crocodile pirates attack, and then everybody almost fucking dies. I just feel like death and destruction follows you wherever
So
you go,
as she
Avantris.
says this, Sylvie's invisible voice comes from Vandris' back and she says, look, he's already almost gotten us killed, but guess what? We didn't abandon him like some people.
Okay, alright, let's all just take a big deep breath here. Let's all
I eat
settle
some more
down.
popcorn.
To be fair, again, Orpheus was here long before we reached the city. We came because we knew he was here. We were have similar goals that I have. We happen to, have some beneficial mutual arrangements going on here. Yes, we've become friends, and yes, we are very merry while we adventure. But this is not a bounty hunting, predetermined thing. We're just working together while it's mutually beneficial. And for now, we need to bring Orpheus to justice.
And in our defense, we tend to follow death, not the other way around.
And as he's saying this, I want to climb off of his back, and I want to climb onto Rodek's back, if they'll let me. I'm invisible.
She makes no notice of you doing this.
She's just like my cloak just ruffling.
She makes no notice of this. And she then looks at the rest of you guys, finally kind of, she's still standing at the door. She's basically standing at the, preventing you from getting in. The door is basically cracked, and she's just basically blocking your path in that regard. She then finally gets a chance to survey the party and nods and says, so, you've been following this asshole for how long now?
It's been a few months.
And I'm sure there's plenty of times he's almost gotten you all killed. You have any party members that you've lost because of this guy?
Not yet.
I work very hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
Well, you guys are luckier than others. And she is about to let you in, and then she turns back and says, you didn't manage to save anything that was in the boat, did you?
Not a single item.
Was there anything in the boat?
We don't know. We didn't look.
You didn't check. Okay.
Never checked.
Okay. Come on in. Forgus has been waiting for you. And
we're very sorry.
Whatever.
I'll apologize for it.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I'm slowly braiding pieces.
Rodek, save your breath.
Yeah. Aye.
She opens the door, and you are met with a strange pungent odor hits your nostrils. It's this weird combination of hot peppers and apples and almost like chicken soup and this tangy smell of pennies and metal.
Oh my God, that smells delicious. Do you guys smell that?
This weird, and then so you look inside, and it is a very dark room. There are a few lanterns lit, and the place looks like it's outfitted for a full-on siege. There's all sorts of weapons all lined up across the side. There's cans and cans and jars of what look like food. There's a fire with a big pot cooking on it. There seems to be strange contraptions all fastened to the ceiling, and going all around. There's this strange barrel that seems to be, it looks like a wooden barrel that's been plated in some kind of metal. And you see at a table are two gentlemen. One you recognize to be Seamus. The other is a dwarven gentleman. He seems to be not quite as old as Seamus relative. He is definitely a little past middle age as far as dwarves go. He is balding with a reddish brownish hair and a relatively short beard. You see his arms. He's fairly plump, but you actually can see that there is a good amount of muscle beneath his fat there. And he has a jar of these strange pepper things, and he's pulling them out and he's chomping on them. And he says, "Welcome to Resistance, Avantris."
Forgus, you crazy bastard! It's so good to see you.
No! Don't come in here. Don't say a word until you drop your gold off in the barrel. You know the rules. Emiria points, and she rolls her eyes and points to the barrel, and she pulls off the lid. You look inside, and there's a bunch of different coin purses. And Forgus shakes his head and says, "Avantris, it's like you forgot that the elites have enchanted all gold in the world to listen to everything that we say. I have outfitted this special barrel with adamantine and mithril, my own combination, in order to block all of these mind control and detecting magics. So you'll have to..."
My apologies. You're right. I slipped my mind. It's been a while. Guys, just let's put the gold in the bag. It'll be fine.
Are you sure?
By the way, how's your research on the frogs going?
Oh no, I've made a lot of ground. We can talk all about it. I think the potions of diminution that the elites are putting into our water supply are turning the bullywugs back into frogs. I don't know. I'm Fergus Flamesider, by the way. And it is order. No. Trust me. No. It is an order to. We don't even know it, but we're all slowly getting smaller. But because we're all getting smaller at the same time, relatively, we don't even notice. That's how they get us.
Orpheus, this is fascinating. We've got plenty of time to talk about it. I'm sorry. I apologize for the lack of introductions. Guys, please introduce yourselves to Fergus here.
Well, hold on. How come you didn't tell me that you knew someone so intelligent?
See,
No, I'm sorry. I'm at a loss for words. Continue, please.
Well, thank you. I'm glad some people can appreciate my intelligence in Myriad. And she rolls her eyes and smacks the lid on the barrel and walks over and grabs this a mug of this frothy, like reddish golden liquid. And she just starts to drink. She kicks her feet up. And Seamus calls over to you and says, "Well, you survived the onslaught there, did you?"
We did. I'd like to think we did some good work too. And unfortunately, we found and then lost Orpheus again.
Well, that doesn't surprise me one bit. From what you told me of him, he seemed like a crafty son of a bitch.
That he is.
So then Fergus stands up and he says, "Well, excuse me, I need to know all of your names before I introduce you to our inner conclave here. I already know these two, and Avantris or these three, Avantris, Seamus, and Myriad. But you all are strangers. You did put your gold in the barrel. I'm gonna need to pat you down though, just to make sure you didn't miss anything."
So I did put my gold in the barrel.
Oh, did you? I thought you did.
Do you feel alright about this? Like, should we continue?
Yes, I know this is strange. Let's just adhere to the rules, and the more we comply, the painless this will be.
Alright, well, the name's Rodek.
I'm gonna give the party gold to in my.
Are you
pouch.
still invisible?
I am. I'm going to give it to Lumi, and I'm going to have her to stay outside invisible.
That's
Okay.
Much better.
Okay. So, how much can she carry?
Can
you have like 11,000 gold?
Yeah, something like that.
It's not all in gold though, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe not.
It's
Probably
probably
not.
mostly in gold.
That's why I'm
I
trying to
think we
use
just
D&D
converted
Beyond.
it for convenience, but I don't
Yeah,
How heavy is
I
the
don't
bag
think
of holding?
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, I mean, we could give her the bag of holding. I think she could carry that.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, so we'll just give her.
Okay.
We'll put her on the bag
Okay,
of
she
holding. and
turns the
she's
bag of holding invisible and she flies off into the
like,
corner.
I'm not giving
Here
that
you
shit to
go.
some
I pretend to put
stranger
stuff in
man.
the barrel.
Okay. good.
I'd be happy to steal his barrel for Mithril and Adamantium.
Ooh.
We're not stealing anything.
That wasn't really in character. I know I used my character voice for it, but
I have this place with the ultimate surveillance, the ultimate magic of surveillance, and it's booby trapped to hell. You will not get out of here without me knowing, and you won't. And if I catch wind, I will punch you 5 times and you will die.
Fergus.
I'm not bragging. It's just the truth.
We
That's
don't
Ravings.
have to worry. We don't have to worry about that. These are good people. Just as I trust you guys, you will learn to trust these guys. I promise.
Okay, and then
We mean you know how.
Avantris, aren't you gonna introduce all your new friends now that you've replaced all of us?
Absolutely. I would be honored to, even though no one's been replaced. So let's just all get along here. We've got Rodek Stonehearth here, who is a dwarf, and I don't really want to get into the whole thing. So please, by all means, feel free to get to know each other better. We've got Ganji here. As you can see, he's a dragonborn, kind of hard to miss. This is Sylvie Flickerwicked. She's a gnome warlock.
Disembodied voice.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. She's invisible. She does that sometimes.
Only for like a tiny bit longer.
And we've got Annulin over here. Mossgrove is her last name. She's a wood elf ranger. She's a good girl.
Avantris, it's a little weird to just get into everyone's race when you're introducing someone. I think a name would be fun.
Yeah, well, you know me. I'm extra descriptive when I'm nervous.
Well, it's hard for me to tell sometimes, so I appreciate that, Avantris. It sounds like he's
You
like
do
cool.
seem a little crazy, guy.
Hey.
No.
Sorry, no.
No, people have said I'm crazy, but it's further from the truth. I actually know everything about this city. I know everything, all the inner workings of Avantris, the whole world. I've got the secrets. I got a whole network of sources. I have very good sources. Trust me, very good sources. And I know everything that's going on.
I lean over to Rodek and whisper, "It's nice to not be the strangest thing in the room for the change."
And I just give him a little gentle tap on the shoulder.
And I whisper to him, I'm a disembodied voice.
So, by all means, now that we've had some introductions and our gold has been secured, and you've, feel free to give us the old pat down. Where would you like to lead us? Is there more people to meet? Is there somewhere we can go to discuss and talk? We've got a lot to do here.
Now this is all we got here. This is ground zero. This is the home base. This is where it happens.
That's what I was afraid of. Okay,
I even got a
that's
few
fine.
of those dead pirates in the corner. And he points over.
Oh, they're actually dead.
Yeah, there's actually dead. There's 2 dead crooks.
What are
That's
your
interesting.
plans for those?
Which ones are they? Are they the vial guys?
That you do notice that one of them is a vile guy.
Does he have vials on him still?
He make a perception check.
Ooh. Good idea.
16. I think that's a 19.
19. You look around and you notice that one seems to be one of the vile guys, and another seems to just been one of the general kind of swashbuckler. I punch both of those 2 to death. If that doesn't intimidate you, I don't know what will. And he grabs another one of these like huge, strange, bulbous peppers and starts chomping on it.
Do you intend to just leave them there?
No, we gotta investigate. I've had this theory about lizard folk for the longest time, and I finally think I'm close to breaking it. I need to study their anatomy. And I'm planning. No, see, you're all laughing. And Myriad says I should throw them out into the harbor, but I think that's wasting perfectly good lizard folk. I'm punching them.
I agree with on this one, believe it or not.
Well, sometimes I like to put carcasses in my head and fly around in my broom.
Well, see now finally someone's speaking sense.
So
We didn't know what they were, so I wanted to be one to know one.
What?
Someone you can't see because
Yeah, no, see, the voice is making sense. I hear a lot of voices, and that one probably makes the most sense of all of the voices I've heard.
This is gonna be a good day, guys.
Well, what are we doing here?
Okay, alright, so this is a lot to take in. I got some things I want to talk to you about because, like, as you've said, I know that people often think that you're a little eccentric, but I think that there may be some merit to some of these theories that you have. We've witnessed some pretty strange things over the course of the last few months, dealing with some creatures that are, quite frankly, otherworldly. And I'd love to hear what you have to say about the topics as concisely as possible.
Well, you know me, I'm the definition of concise. Would you all like a pepper?
None for me, thanks.
I'm alright.
Sure, these are the ones that will make you strong against the mind control and mind wiping powers of the powers that be.
I'm alright.
Maybe.
I'll take one.
Okay, now this is a Yulong Ease Banshee pepper, and it is pickled in axebeak bone broth.
That sounds delicious.
Okay, here you go, and he pulls out and is dripping with.
Um,
Okay, here you go, voice.
Has anyone
I
seen
don't
our
take it
Has
neither.
anyone seen our Axebeak recently?
It's at
Yeah,
the
well, at
stable
Ravings,
with.
but
I,
we're
I
assuming
checked
you're
on
okay.
him 2 days ago.
Not if he's happy.
Yeah, you
Oh,
didn't
you're
check
right.
them after
Well, I'm
that.
just wondering if you found
They're probably both dead.
found old. Probably. Well, that's probably where the Axebeak bone broth came from.
Oh,
It takes a
no.
long time to make bone broth. You can't whip that up in like an hour.
I don't know what he's calling broth, but it wouldn't surprise me if it didn't involve actual broth.
That was delicious.
It's you take a bite and it's really crunchy, but it's incredibly hot. Make a Constitution saving throw.
20?
20. You feel this is the spiciest thing you've ever eaten, but once you kind of overcome the immediate pain and discomfort, it actually tastes pretty good and briny and salty. It's a little bizarre, but it tastes good. And now, and that's what I use to stay sharp as attack, as they say. So, what do you want to talk about, Vandris? Are you here to join the resistance?
So you could say that we're already kind of a part of the resistance. As you know, you and I have always been good friends, and I don't just leave my good friend blowing in the wind. So I've always been a part of the resistance. You know that.
Well, and then you kind of just after that whole situation, we won't talk about that. Sorry, Myriad. But after she's gonna get real mad. After that whole thing, you kind of up and I guess everybody left, but that was rough.
We all kind of went our own ways for a bit. I think it was kind of necessary, which is fine. That's neither here nor there. The point is, I'm glad to see you, and we've just got some stuff to talk about. So first off,
yeah,
and pay attention here, guys, because there's going to be a lot of info coming, and I think that this is some. I think there's some good hints in here. Just let's all put our collective brains together.
All right.
But what do you know about the other planes and drawing perhaps gods or whispers from other planes?
Oh, the planes? I know about planes. You know the 9 hells? They say that they're in the lower planes, but I actually know for a fact, my sources are very good, that it is actually in the material plane on a floating continent in the sky, shrouded in mist.
Okay.
And
so
also,
planes.
and
What
also,
do you know about old ancient whispers from other planes?
well, whispers from other planes. I've heard of whispers of a lot of different whispers. It depends on the flavor of the whisper that you're talking about. I guess people hear whispers from their mom, even though their mom is dead. That's pretty weird.
It is weird.
And then they say that there's whispers that people tell of strange voices of languages they don't even speak, tell them to do things they don't want to do, but then when they hear the words that they all of a sudden want to do it.
Has this happened to you?
No, I hear a lot of different voices. I just hear from some of my friends, my very good friends, that I pay to give me information.
Okay. What do you know about hags?
If they don't understand
Hags?
the language, how does it tell them to do something?
I'm pretty sure 90% of the global elite of the world leaders are a hag of some kind. Have you ever noticed the baby trafficking?
I can't say specifically baby trafficking. We've had our run-in with
Did
slavers,
you say
98%. 98%.
Do you have sources for your statistics?
I have very good sources, yes.
I'd like to take a look.
No, I protect my sources. It is a Forgage Flame Cider guarantee that I protect my sources.
Huh. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on from hags then, I suppose. Have you heard of the one that we've been referencing as Orpheus Radamanthus?
Orpheus, describe him.
Well, he's a purple tiefling, but he was making some trouble down here in the Kench for a while. He was holed up here for a while, and he had a run-in with some of the serpents. He wasn't paying his dues and whatnot. He was causing quite the stir. I'd be shocked if you hadn't heard anything about it.
Oh, that weirdo. Yeah, I remember him.
Did you see him, meet him?
No, I don't. I rarely leave my safe hole. It's not safe out there for someone as knowledgeable and powerful as I am. One of my informants' tale is a stranger who's very well dressed for the Kench, not the usual type to be looking around, and he seemed like he had a huge ass haul of a bunch of vials and potions and
like frog
elixirs.
creatures and stuff.
I don't know about frog creatures, but I believe it. That guy was a weird looking dude.
Yeah.
That's what my informant told me.
That's true.
What
Your
else-
informant
what-
was correct.
What else do you know about this man?
Well, I know that he did something. Frog creatures. He did say that he was tailing him, and then the guy turned around, and like this strange, horrible frog creature showed up out of the top of his head, like a strange illusion, and shit himself, and ran the other way.
Like his head turned into...
No, he didn't know. It just like it appeared above him, like some strange ghost frog or something.
Appeared above Orpheus?
Yeah, Orpheus, if that's his name. Just for your context, you may have remembered that he did an ability similar to that when you first fought him and made Sylvie run like away 1,000,000 feet.
It was a frog?
That was like a billion years ago. So.
It was literally like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 2.5 years ago.
So you're saying that one of Forgus's informants saw him use this ability again, potentially?
Yes.
Sylvie, do you remember what you saw that made you so scared?
Can I roll like a
Roll
something
an
to
intelligence
remember?
check.
Probably not. No, 11.
So I'll say that because it happened, it petrified you with fear to the extent that it's still kind of etched in the back of your mind.
In the anals of my mind.
In the anals of your why not?
Evil semen? Angels of your mind.
Yeah. So you remember that Orpheus, when you were fighting him, he was basically one-on-one with Avantris, and you were about to go up and make a spell attack against him, I believe. And the form of this horrific black-looking toad creature appeared above him. Kind of similar to your Fey presence and Ganji's ancestral guardian or whatever it is. Spirit Guardians. Basically appeared in a similar form, but rather than kind of this Fey presence or an angelic draconic presence, this was a horrific-looking, bulbous, black frog creature. Toad creature. Amphibian of some kind.
Out of character, what was the object that we had the elves recover for us? It was that, like, psionic heart.
It was a huge, like, beating white heart, yeah.
It was white.
Alright, Forgus. Okay, so we got a lot to cover here, and I'm sorry I'm just rapid firing the questions at you, but like you said, you're a sharp guy, so I'm sure you can keep up.
No, it feels good. I mean, these two here don't ask me about my opinions and theories about anything, so it's good to feel appreciated.
What do you know about potentially large hearts? It's some sort of a heart thing that we found. It was white, and I convinced this guy to touch it, and it hurt him mentally. It was very funny at the time, honestly. You would have got a great laugh at it. I wish you'd been there.
Forgus, Forgus. Sorry. He thinks and says, "Well, it hurt his mind. It hurt his brain."
Yeah, he grabbed it. He was in pain. He said he hurt his brain and it made him nauseous. He almost threw up.
Yeah, and it killed my pixie. But and I don't think I told you guys this. Sorry, but when it killed her, I heard through her some weird shit.
So, like more
voices.
otherworldly whispers.
Yeah, like whispers and stuff from the gross heart.
But you didn't understand the language.
Yeah, I did because at the time I was using something called comprehend languages or tongues or just one of my magical abilities. So I knew what it said. I have it written down somewhere.
Do you
it's
remember?
Not on me because I.
That might be a good time to share.
Yeah. I have it in my notebook, but I transferred everything to D&D and Beyond. So can you just tell me what I know?
I forget what the fuck it said.
It was something really vague.
Yeah.
I think. And thanks Jean-Pierre for following.
Oh yeah, thanks for the follow.
You.
And so I think that it was something like your efforts can't stop the Empire.
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, like it
Does
basically
that mean
just
anything to you, Forgus?
said that.
Oh, there's a lot of empires. There's dragon empires. There's giant empires. There's all sorts of empires. The whole world everybody's got an empire. The hobgoblins and especially the bullywugs. They're turning back into frogs.
Hold on.
Thanks,
I know that sounds insane, but what does that actually mean?
What mean?
What you just said. The what's turning back into frogs?
The bullywugs. Frog people are turning back into frogs thanks to the water supply being poisoned by diminution. I don't know how to pronounce that shit. Diminution potions.
We have
So
one
wait,
of those.
they're frog people.
Yeah,
But
but
they're losing the people side of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wouldn't know what a bullywug was, right?
would I know?
Yeah, I think you would. Yeah, you would know what bullywugs.
Yeah, like bullywugs. You know frog people.
So they're like people, but frog people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, they
yeah.
look like frogs, but they're people.
So they're kind of like the crocodile pirates. They're
Forgus,
just...
isn't it so difficult to talk to people who just don't get it?
I know disembodied voice. I totally agree.
Do you have evidence of this actually happening?
I have great sources. unbelievable sources.
No, I mean like do we have actual evidence of a frog
Your
person turning
sources.
into a full frog?
No, I mean, but if you see the signs, the evidence is in the signs. If you see the way the world's going, yeah, I mean, I'm not bragging, but I am a genius, so I can see what is happening, and I know that I can see beyond. I can see the big picture. You know, you're operating up here, and I'm operating up here.
That's 100% true, Forgus. And so my question is, what is baby trafficking?
I mean, obviously, the global elite are hags that are using children.
So do you think that this white heart could be for the Hag Empire?
There could be a hag empire. There could be a whale empire. You never know.
Well, that's probably more likely than a Hag Empire.
Absolutely.
Drake has a great question. Is that the D&D version of Alex Jones?
Should we start our giveaway, by the way?
Yes, let's do it with that.
Please do.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's pause.
Okay, we're gonna start our giveaway, guys.
What's our word?
Can we get down there, right?
Yeah. So hold on, I gotta. Should it be like frogs?
Frogs. The word is frogs. Our word is frogs. So
Where's
if you
oh shit, I can change.
Is it frogs? I thought we had set words.
Just explain the rules again for
Yeah,
anybody who might be.
So if anyone's watching, if you're watching on Facebook, please go to Twitch chat and like and subscribe. But basically for the next like 5-10 minutes or so, we're going to give you the keyword. The keyword is frogs. And basically type frogs into the chat. And we'll give it like 5-10 minutes.
We'll let you know when to start typing
And
frogs.
we'll let you know when to start typing frogs. And then once you do, then we'll randomize it. We'll announce
that
a winner.
says Forgs.
Forgs. Frogs. There we go. There we go.
Okay.
Okay.
Hopefully that works.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying this giveaway thing.
We're trying
for
the
the
giveaway
first time.
thing, guys.
Okay.
So yeah, do we start now?
So, so basically,
So are we gonna start it?
Yeah, so basically just we'll continue, but guys, if you want to enter for a chance to win one of these, a vinyl sticker of your choice, any of these, or a different one, or the D&D icon, any color, just any vinyl sticker we can cut out for you, D&D related, just write the word frogs, F-R-O-G-S, in chat, and then we'll roll a winner in a few minutes.
Starting now, frogs.
okay, frogs. So, and if anyone comes in that's new and asks about the giveaway, just let them know. You guys are the best. Okay, so,
I'd asked about
Okay.
the baby trafficking.
baby trap. I mean, everyone knows that the high-level elites, they work on hags or allow them to achieve immortality, and that they are using babies in order to fuel and to eat. Kind of how I eat these peppers, these Yulongese. How I told you about these Yulongese ghost
I ate
peppers.
You did.
I did.
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Oh,
But
great.
you said they were banshee peppers, not ghost peppers.
Banshee peppers. That's what I meant. See,
Not
see,
that
I
I
don't
would
even
ever
know.
question
I don't
you,
even know
but-
my own thing. So, and then they eat them, and it's a delicious snack.
You think babies are a delicious snack?
For a hag, have you never met a hag? I haven't, but I mean that's
Let's not go there.
my
Just
sources.
continue.
My
Just continue,
sources
please.
are very certain.
Who are these sources that you speak
I
of?
have a lot of informants, a whole network.
Are they
This
people?
this is the
Are they
brain-
real people?
This is the nerve center. Yeah, I've got real people all over.
Like humans and dwarves and elves and things like
Oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah.
And
All
how do they reach you with this information?
But I have my ways. I don't reveal how I get this information.
Beatrice,
he
I
just
don't
sits in
think
the
we're
glass
getting
enclosed
any
nerve
information
center.
from this.
Okay, all right. So I've asked a ton of questions. If there's anything that anyone else would like to ask that I may have missed, now would probably be a good time. So please.
I have a question. I turn to Seamus. Seamus, how are you doing? Are you all right? We haven't spoken to you since the attack. Did you make it here okay? Are you hurt?
He nods at you, and his eyes kind of widen a little bit. It looks like he's remembering something from the previous day. And he says, luckily I was met up with one of my real contacts, and was able to find this place right before the attack began. And some tried to break in, but Forgus took care of them, and Myriad was here, and they made quick work of them. So I'm fine. I appreciate it, though. I'm glad you all are alive. I wasn't worried for a second, though.
We were all right. It was close. But did you happen to go by the stables, perchance, when you were out and about for the last few days?
the watch. I didn't want to go anywhere near
That's
the perch. It was a little emotional. You know how it is.
Well, go ahead.
I don't know how helpful it will be going forward, but we saved the life of the chick that kind of runs the guards or whatever in town. So maybe after all this, we saved 2 of the silver serpents actually, and so maybe after all this, we can try and work something out to get you a new inn.
Well, I'd very much appreciate that.
Well, at least try. I mean, I can't make a guarantee, but hopefully we can do something to help out.
Anything you can do, you know, I appreciate it.
We're not going to leave you blown in the wind, Seamus.
I've got nothing.
So did I see any potions from the
Oh, yeah.
Make an investigation check.
Okay.
You know, Ganji's rummaging through dead bodies in the corner. He's like hissing.
Classic Dragonborn.
That didn't work. It's only like a 3 or something, so I didn't find shit.
You manage to find a lot of them are broken, but you see 2 are intact, and you actually also find a roll-up scroll in the clutches of this alchemical lizard folk. And you could probably take the time to inspect these while...
We got cards.
We got cards. Okay. So we got 2 potions and a scroll. Potion of fire breath.
Let me add them to our D&D and Beyond.
Bonus action to exhale fire within 30 feet. You get to breathe it 3 times. Potion of poison, which is if you drink it, you take 3d6 poison damage.
Great.
Why would you ever take that?
Well, presumably we feed it to someone else. And then Scroll of Maelstrom. Bears the words of the 5th level spell Maelstrom. Words on the scroll will fade, and it's as in the spell Maelstrom. Okay. Cool.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah. So
meanwhile.
So I take the potion of poison.
Yeah.
And I show it to Forgus. Well, first I'm gonna look at it. Are there any symbols or anything on it? Any identifying marks of where it might have come from?
You take a look at and there does seem to be a wax seal on this, on both of these. And if you remember the healing potions that you bought from the equivalent exchange, it is the same symbol of...
That's what I thought. Yeah, he was supplying them.
Oh shit! So what? It's Alphonse's
seal.
Is there any chance, out of character, that they stole them? And it wasn't a supply.
You guys would remember this. You talked to Mina, and she said that the dude bought a shit ton of stuff. That Orpheus had stopped by the shop and he was asking about the ingredients, and when she wouldn't sell him the stuff for his rituals, he bought like a shit ton of stuff out of the store.
Gotcha.
Wow, they were well supplied, apparently.
Well, I can't imagine they would have stolen that much stuff.
I wonder where Orpheus is getting all this money from.
Well, if he can go to different planes and he can go to the plane of Earth, it's not that difficult to find valuable gemstones there. So I assume Forrest knows that I have these potions. Like, has he noticed that I have these potions?
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to care.
Okay.
Yeah, he can have those. I don't consume anything that isn't personally brewed by Forgus Flame Cider.
It's not a bad idea, especially for this one. But do you recognize the symbol on them? And I show him the seal on the poison potion. I show him Alphonse's seal.
Oh yeah, that's LeBlanc's symbol. Everyone in town knows that.
So, what do you know about LeBlanc? What are your where does he play into all of these things you're talking about?
Oh well, he's one of the ones pulling all the strings of everything. He's a vampire, you know.
Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I twisted!
I know, I've been saying that this whole time.
He's a nighttime Dracula.
Well, now hold on. So she's been calling him a Dracula. You're saying he's a vampire.
That's what a
Yeah,
Dracula
he's a vampire.
is.
Yeah, do you know that? Have you seen the dude?
A Dracula is like one of the most powerful vampires you can possibly find.
He's literally a pot-bellied vampire.
Yeah, a
So what do you mean
Dracula.
by just look at the dude?
I mean, have you seen him?
Yeah.
And then also, all of the other serpents are also vampires. Every single one is a vampire.
I'm not sure about that because they go out in the daytime, but LeBlanc does not.
Well, and actually though, but so
So
they're
they could
special
be
vampires.
The daylight ones.
Well, maybe a daylight one, but my theory is that all 7 of these are vampires, but they're also secretly there's 7 silver serpents. 7 serpents like the heads of a hydra. They are all heads of a hydra, a vampire hydra that splits up and during the day.
You are so smart. You know
And so
so
that's how
many
they move
things.
around during the
Yeah, the hydra. It stands to reason. My sources, my very good sources.
Oh.
This is quite the development.
Do you think? Oh, friends. I've had an idea. So, what if LeBlanc? So LeBlanc's obviously a Dracula. We know that now.
He's a vampire.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
So,
Also, you better watch out for Theramore. She's also a vampire.
oh, that may be true, but I think he was trying to kill her. Because, like, think about it this way, right? Reeve is kind of weak and pathetic.
And also a vampire.
Sure, maybe. But his parents died, and they were probably much stronger than he was. And so they killed his parents so that he could manipulate Reeve. But then the strongest ones left were Vito and the Theramore lady. And so they tried to kill them in the attack, but we saved them both. I bet, because they didn't try and kill Reeve, that frog guy was just trying to steal him. So I bet he just wants control of all of the like, Hydra heads or whatever he said.
So, but here's the thing. So we know that Orpheus had no desire to attack during the night. We obviously saw the armies, retreat as soon as they needed to. So if they're scared of Alphonse, then why would they work together with him? Orpheus doesn't have any reason to work with Alphonse if Orpheus is clearly scared of the man.
That stands to reason. You make a good source, Avantris. You need some work?
We've got work up to our gills right now, pal. But I'll let you know if I'm ever in, falling on hard times.
I didn't know you had gills, Avantris.
So, Forgus, how do you know Avantris?
Oh, we're old bounty hunting buddies. Me, Avantris, and Myriad over there. Seamus was our host and regular informant and confidant.
Well, tell me about the kinds of bounties you all would take out.
I mean, it was mostly thugs and criminals and a lot of
basic.
lot of stuff from Belliver, union people not paying their union dues. A lot of employees that steal
To
from
be
them.
fair,
and
we
skip.
were just getting started, so we were taking any kind of work we could get.
All right.
But some bigger jobs too. Some dangerous criminals, the occasional mad scientist or wizard or something. But nothing the fatherless couldn't handle.
All right. Well, it's very interesting to hear. We'll have to talk more about it later. Avantris honestly doesn't talk much about his old bounty hunting days, so I'd love to hear more.
Well,
Maybe someday.
I give Vanus a wink.
Myriad looks up and nods at Van and says, "So you haven't told them anything, have you?"
It wasn't really an appropriate time to tell anything.
Yeah, okay. I'm sure you would say that. Then you wouldn't want to give any of your new friends any reason to distrust your judgment. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
To be fair, we've
Now,
all
I don't
made...
think that's entirely fair.
You tell me what's fair, Vandris.
So, this is quite interesting. I'd like to hear at least a little more about this lack of judgment you speak of, because we have happened to have an issue or two in the past with the same thing.
Whoa,
Meaning
hold on.
Vandris lacking proper judgment.
This is feeling awfully accusatory here. I don't think that's the goal of us coming here to talk to Forgus.
All right. I'm just saying that maybe later we can. I'd like to know more. Maybe at some time when there are less pressing matters.
Well, just to give you a little sample, he got one of us killed.
So okay, all right.
But
I had used context clues to gather that much.
can I time this out real quick? So our giveaway thing isn't working.
Okay.
So I tallied up the people who did it, and it was 6. So I rolled a 6-sided die. We got 5, and that would have been Rabbit Hat.
Rabbit Hat!
Rabbit Hat!
Congratulations!
Hi, Rabbit Hat!
Rabbit Hat, congratulations. You are the first winner of our vinyl decal giveaway. You can either message your stuff on Twitch or Discord, since you're on our Discord anyway.
Yeah.
We also have a Discord, by the way. Maybe it's pinned in the comments of Facebook. Maybe someone here can post on Discord.
It is in the basically it's on our Twitch channel. If you're on Twitch, just scroll down and join us on Discord.
Okay, cool. Congrats.
Yeah.
We'll have 2 more giveaways, so there's another 2 chances. So stay tuned, guys, and keep engaging in chat.
We may have to just keep rolling dice.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm fine rolling dice. We can just tally it up.
Yeah.
Cool.
On a serious note, if you want to know what happened, Rodek, I'd be happy to tell you myself. But I'm not going to sit here and be, the target of some accusatory baloney.
To be fair, you deserve it, Avantris.
Yeah, says you.
I'm just giving you a hard time. That's fine. I just poking fun. That's all.
This isn't a joking matter, Rodek.
All right. We can continue. It just I feel like we haven't figured out a whole lot since we've been here. Honestly.
Listen, I know Forgus is a little eccentric, and I don't think that we can. I say as an aside, I'm not sure we can take it all for for truth, but I think that there's some value in talking to him. I honestly believe that. I think that he's been looked at as a little over the top, but I think there may be some merit behind the things that he knows, and we just got to try to sift through what's potentially truth and what isn't. I think there's something of value here.
So, Avantris, first of all, can you tell me the situation of the city? I fear that most of my excellent sources are dead.
It's not a bad assumption.
Well, it's impossible.
I'm not bragging, I have good sources, but they might all be dead.
So the city's in pretty rough shape. We did what we could when we were kind of caught in the thick of it. I think that the city's pretty resilient, and they're already working on rebuilding. Surely somebody must have given you some sort of a heads up for what's going on out there.
Well, I know that there were the crooks, the lockjaws. Everybody knows that, and everybody knows that they've been doing some weird stuff. No one ever believed me. I had told you I had the theories about the lizard man and the lizard folk, and no one ever believed me. And I am telling you that I've been telling everyone that they are more dangerous, and no one ever believed me. So I know that they also ran away. And I don't know what the state is. I don't know why we aren't chasing after them. Are the Sea Eagles after them?
Well, I think that the Sea Eagles are in pretty rough shape. I think that our intention is to also chase after them and Orpheus, because we have an idea of where he's gone. But first, we wanted to talk to you. We needed to regroup, and we wanted to make sure that everyone that I know or talk to is okay.
Well, I don't know where Hissy is, but she's probably she's in okay shape, probably. She takes care of herself.
You mean Taiki?
Taiki, what did I say?
Hissy.
Whoops. Hissy's dead. Sorry, Myriad. She glares at him, and she actually walks up and goes into another room and slams the door. Wow, God, I've been doing.
You can't mess up like that.
I've been doing that all week.
Everyone's so sensitive around here.
I know, that's what I've been saying. See, if only we were all dwarves. I'm not racist. I'm not racist, but I'm saying if only they were all dwarves, we wouldn't have to worry. We wouldn't have to be walking on eggshells.
That's what I'm saying.
Is what I'm saying.
I like
Unbelievable.
walking on eggshells. It makes a funny crunch sound as you're tapping your feet.
Yeah, I don't care for it. I don't care. It restrains my freedom of speech.
So, you mentioned this. So first of all, you obviously seem to think that these lizard folk are up to no good.
No, of course.
I'd love to know a little more about your theory. And do you know anything about Undertow Island or Isle?
Well, The one thing that everybody should know, they don't put that in the history books, is that it was a great fortress of the Black Dragonborn in the old Empire. I mean, everybody, this is like textbook stuff, right, Ganji?
I looked at Gage.
Can I
kind of give him an quizzical look.
I imagine I can.
Make an intelligence check.
Yeah.
Would it be a history?
History check.
Okay.
History check. Duh.
Good, because I do have proficiency.
Yeah, you got
it. 20.
20. You remember that the chain of islands, you read that the chain of islands was used a lot by the Black Dragonborn in the days of the Dragonborn Empire. And but as far as like any particular keep, it's just kind of left vague. But as far as what exactly was there, and so, but it does sound like that makes sense.
Something like that, yes.
And so we all know that the Black Dragonborn were interested in black dragons and the strange dark magics, and I knew they were brewing up something.
Are there still black dragonborns there on the islands?
So I don't know. I mean, that may be long dead, but I know that them lizards did something. I mean, look, that ain't natural. You see them? That ain't no lizard folk I've ever seen.
Do they
So
look?
you're saying that they may have taken residence on this island?
Well, they've been there for years, decades. Feel like maybe some dumb croc stumbled upon something that no one was meant to stumble upon, and who knows?
So would we have that sense as well that the crocs that we saw are unlike what you would expect a crocodile lizard folk to look like?
Why don't we make Sylvie make a intelligence check at advantage?
Okay. 20.
20. So Sylvie would probably have encountered lizard folk the most, probably out of all of your party. Maybe you guys have encountered it across the board, but generally they can be a variety of different like reptilian creatures, such as like a lizard, but it could be lizards or crocodiles or alligators, that sort of thing. They're generally a little bit more tribalistic or savage, not like wearing human clothes and using all sorts of crazy magic. There might be some shamanism that they've used, but as far as the scale and organization that they had and the crazy magical artifacts and the like was definitely not what you would have expected.
Clearly not what Amalia expected.
Yeah, I told you she's so busy being a vampire that she's not protecting the city.
I mean, it's really difficult to be a Dracula and also another person.
That's what I'm saying. That's why there's 7 Draculas all in one Hydra. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, folks.
That's a lot of Draculas to put in one Hydra.
I know. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, it's true. It's all true.
I think we might be getting off topic. So to answer your question, we are interested in chasing them down and trying to catch up. Do you have any suggestions or advice or anything that we could do to aid us in that goal?
Well, where the Seagulls must have sent a fleet after them at this point.
I think they're a little busy rebuilding. I don't know what their fleet looks like at this point.
What happened to their fleet?
There was a very large turtle that ate most of it.
A dragon turtle.
Wait, are you telling me that there's a dragon turtle out there in the sea right now?
Presumably, it's still there. Yes.
Are you planning on taking a boat out there? You're fixing to be turtle food?
I don't think so. No, that's why we're kind of trying to figure out what might be a better idea.
We have a couple ideas, but we were hoping for some better ones.
Well, what kind of ideas you have? I like ideas, but only really good ideas and good theories.
Well, well, anyway, while they're whispering, I honestly, I mean, if we don't, they're in the middle of the ocean, and we can't take a boat to go stop them. So at this point, what choice do we have? Do you know of any kind of? I mean, we have a broom of flying. We have a few ways that some of us can go and fly.
You think you can ride a broom of flying all the way to Undertow Island?
Probably
Or
not.
crash into the sea and get
like
ate up
one
by
of
it.
us could, but not all of us.
That's a long ways. Yeah, to sleep. Where are you gonna sleep?
You just wouldn't sleep for a night or two.
Yeah, it'd take a little bit longer than that. Okay, ideas. I want to hear your ideas first.
That might be the extent of it. We were looking for some sort of potential air travel, anything to prevent us from being on the water.
Unless we can somehow divert the dragon turtle and
That's true.
Sacrifice some ships.
Should we tell him our idea?
I guess so.
Okay, you do it.
Well,
Sure thing, Scales. What's up? Tell me. Lay it on me.
I like that name.
well, Smoothskin.
I like that name too.
Ooh, you got him.
Come on, Orb, help me out here.
All right.
The dragon turtle was summoned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, if something is summoned, it can be banished back.
Yeah. With
I guess
banishment.
that's a reason. Yeah, sure.
I can banish. We have a means of flying to the dragon turtle, and Sylvie has means of weakening it to the banishment.
Yeah.
Which means.
Wait a minute, but did you see that thing? You're trying to tell me that you have the ability to just make it vanish.
Yeah.
If it was summoned here, it can be banished. That's how summoning magic works. I can't guarantee it'll succeed, because if this were a game, I might say it might have legendary resistances, but it stands.
This
to
isn't a
reason.
game, Ganji, okay? This is real life. I'm telling you right now, this is real life.
What happened to our fourth wall?
The point is, we can get close enough to it, and we can probably banish it. And if the banishment doesn't work, then we should be able to get away safely, and we're no worse than we started out.
Wait, you think we can get away if this plan doesn't work?
So what we could do, so the thing is that Ganji and I could both die, really, is how it works. But, so Ganji and I would fly out to it, or ride out to it or something, to get his attention. I would put Hex up on it, because it makes things weak. And then he would use his banishment, and then hopefully we would banish it back to its plane of existence. If that doesn't work, I'll use Hex from my ring, and then I'll use 2-dimension doors to get us 1,000 feet away in an instant. And if it travels really fast, and we die, then we die. But
That's honestly the worst idea that I've ever had. And that's not an exaggeration.
I think that's pretty good. We were going to do it without
you
telling
could
you.
try it, but you would almost certainly die.
Not if we're invisible.
Yeah.
But did you see the kind of magic they have? We don't know. Can the dragon turtle just see right through it? We don't know. We have no idea what they're capable of.
I gotta say, this is something like Forgus would come up with.
I mean, there's...
Hey, man, it's not even my ideas aren't this bad. Do you have any way of tracking a dragon turtle that swam out to sea, you said? How would you find it?
Well, we just figured if we put a boat on the water, it'd come to us.
Bait.
Yeah.
We could bait it. So maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just get a fleet and then just try to lure it out. And the second it shows up, then we try to banish it.
Banish and hex it.
Doesn't have to be even the fleet. We've seen it destroy a single boat. It's
Yeah,
clearly
that one boat
I think we
It's
should have
clearly-
more than. I don't know. I feel like just risking one boat. I think that we make an advance, and with I guess we don't want to risk getting a whole fleet destroyed. But
Yeah, or a bunch of people killed.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm kind of with Rodek on the idea that if we're gonna make a play for this island, we want to bring forces. I don't know if the Sea Equals are in any shape to mount an offensive, but we don't want to be going alone. And I think that if we use a fleet or a small force to draw the turtle out, and then you are able to banish it, then we're able to continue onto the island with reinforcements.
So my concern is I don't want to get, a bunch of people killed because we want to try something. Like, if we can lure it out with one boat, banish it, then we know the water's safe, then we can have a fleet progress. But I don't see any reason in potentially killing more people for something we don't know is going to work.
Right, we could have a fleet, but not a fleet as bait.
So we have one ship as bait, but a fleet ready to go should it work.
And we know it will attack single ships because we've seen that happen.
That's reasonable.
But you're taking a gamble on which ship it's going to attack.
Well, we don't. That's why we don't bring the fleet. We just take one ship out there with the fleet standing by.
How close do you need to be to banish something?
He's got to be pretty close, I'm sure.
Are you sure that... How many ships did Amalia lose?
You'd have to ask
a
her
bunch.
that.
Quite a few.
You think she's gonna sacrifice another ship for this?
If Amalia is the kind of person you say she is, I'm sure she won't mind commandeering a merchant ship.
Well, that's what a vampire would do, I guess.
For the record, it's 60 feet is the range.
He's got to be pretty close, but...
It's not, you don't have to touch it.
Right.
Well, I mean, they're obviously up to something, and we honestly can't afford to just sit around. So we need to figure out some kind of plan.
Well,
If we have better ideas, I'm all ears.
I don't know. This is
my thought. Now that we've said it out loud, we take a ship, a merchant ship, and we go out there to try and lure the dragon turtle in. You and I get on my broom. I mean, I can't make us invisible. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna need my other abilities. I use hex in my rate, so we're gonna fly as fast as we can towards it. When we get to 90 feet, I throw hex on it. When we get to 60 feet, you throw banish on it. I immediately dimension door us back and then back. Or even back just once onto the ship. Hopefully it's banished. If it's not, well, we had a good run, fam.
How much room do you have in your ring of spell strength?
5 whole spells.
So if
spell levels.
So if we wait a day, we could have 2 shots to banish it. I could put a banish on your ring.
Well, what is the highest level banish can go up to?
4.
Yeah, so if I cast it, it will cast it at level 4.
Or I mean,
then I can't cast
No,
the
he
hex.
can put a level 1 spell in it.
yeah, you can put a hex in it. I can put a banish in it. You can use your 2 slots for 2 dimension doors, and you still have a hex on the ring.
Oh. But when I cast banishment through it, I'm casting it as me, so it's casting it as a level 4.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
It is a level 4 spell, so that doesn't matter. That's how it is.
But my hex I cast at level.
Anyway, that's
So-
mechanics.
so
Yeah,
you
We'll figure
see.
it out.
You see Forgus, he takes a huge swig out of his mug. And then his eyes open a little bit, as if he just realized something. Wait, what if you could sail, but not on a boat that a dragon turtle can see or feel?
That'd be great, but is that a thing? I mean, like, are you just
Well,
saying things here?
I have good sources, but one source I was doubting was old Arglin. He's a fisherman. He said that last night, after the pirates took off, he saw a ghost ship sailing into the harbor. He was so scared he turned the other way, and I thought he was nuts. I thought he was just suffering from some post-traumatic disorder.
There's a lot of that going around.
I guess you only protect your good sources.
Well, exactly. He's not one of my sources. He's a friend who has interesting theories.
Oh, so why are you telling us this? What's the point here?
Well, what if there's a way that you could use a ghost? If there is a ghost ship somewhere, you could use that of some kind.
Did we see any kind of ghost ship?
We weren't looking though, to be fair.
Did he happen to describe what this ghost ship looks like, besides looking ghostly?
He said it was big and green and looked like a ghost, but a ship. That's what he said.
It doesn't really help us, Forgus. I mean, we're hurting here, but we got nothing to go off of. You're just saying stuff.
Do we know where this person is? This Arduin?
I might be able to get in touch with him if you give me
Sooner
the
the
evening.
better.
You want some of my famous Forgus Flame Cider, really, really hot element cider? I couldn't think
I
of a
look to
name
the rest of the
for
group
it.
and I go like this.
I couldn't think of.
Yeah, I do.
Okay, here you go. And he pours. He
knocks a cask and pours a huge mug of it, and he
I drink
can
it.
roll a con saving throw.
I'll take a mug. Why not?
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
no. I'll share
I
a
knew
drink
I
with
could
a fellow
count on.
dwarf.
I knew I could count on the other.
15?
15. Okay. This is considerably less spicy, but is incredible. You drink it, and it is this incredibly potent pungent. You can taste that there is apple in there, but you probably think that there's some of those gross pickled pepper in there as well.
Pickled pepper.
Roll a con saving throw on it.
I'm proficient in those. Plus 8, I believe. Yeah, 21.
21. It's same thing for you, but like one, it was kind of a similar thing. It actually tastes like okay, and that is, I will tell you, is made of with heavily purified water and apples and peppers that have not been tampered with any of the secret societies that.
Does it taste good?
It tastes good. It tastes pretty good. It's like a
This is not
spicy,
bad.
like a spicy,
Well done.
fire. It puts some fire in your belly. Yeah, it's like really. Yeah, I mean, it's.
You all should try it.
I'm good, thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe later, though. Later.
Fine. Your loss. It's not bad. You'll have to give me your recipe.
Well, it's a family secret, but if you manage to help me out, I may be willing to part ways. We'll see what happens.
So how could we, if you help us figure out an alternative to go after Orpheus, is there anything you're looking for in return?
Well, there may be if there's any kind of proof that you would have that some of my theories are right, or anything from the island. If you get there, that would be all I would need.
Well, if we kill a daytime Dracula, I will bring you back his fangs.
I appreciate it. Also, bring back his scaly Hydra body as well.
If I can put it on my back and carry it back, I will do that.
Boris, my friend, I promise you some of your theories are more real than you know, and we'll do our best to bring you back proof. But you gotta help us get to that island.
Well, I'll talk to Argelin and see if he's not full of shit. I mean, but that's a pretty crazy thing, a ghost shit. Unbelievable. Like, I believe that the South Pole has a civilization of brain-eating monsters. And that there are two moons, and one is behind the moon that's the dark moon, by the way. And there's this dark moon behind the moon that we see, and it's one day going to crash into the Earth. I understand that. But a ghost ship? That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Unbelievable.
Yep. Don't believe it for a second. So we are gonna go now? Or are we gonna wait?
Think so, unless Vandal
How long is
says-
it gonna take you to contact this source of yours?
I'm gonna need probably overnight, my guess. How can I get in touch with you?
Put the things in my ring then.
Well, we've been staying in Noble Garden under some relatively decent disguises, if I do say so myself.
I knew you would be under some disguise. That's how I didn't hear you were back in town. My sources would have found you immediately had you not had an expert disguise.
I'm sure.
Also, if Myriad just didn't tell me, yeah.
Needless to say, you can send for us to the Wit and Whimsy. And just try to do it quickly. This time is of the essence.
Okay, I'll probably have Myriad do it.
They know us as Lou, Antonitis, and Mademoiselle.
Don't have a Myriad do it, please. Just.
No, I think I'm really close to helping you patch up those wounds. And you see, I made her really angry, and so maybe she'll be more angry at me than at you. What do you think, Avantris? Like
sure
old
that's
times.
Maybe. Look, as far as the wounds go, I think that she's really the only one that's still really hung up on things. So just go easy on her, all right?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Well. Where are you off to now if you're leaving?
I'd like to go check on my mount.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Alright, are we leaving?
Are you guys...
I think that's a good idea. We'll check
Alright.
check on the youngins. Make sure
Alright,
they're not part of any baby
Well,
trafficking.
and
We'll be on our way then, and just send for us quickly, please.
And if this thing, I mean, we've had run-ins with ghosts, Avantris, I know, and we're this whole city is built on the ghost stream, and you all know about the ghost stream, obviously.
Of course.
And
The whole planet, by the way, there is a stream underground filled with ghosts.
I can't sleep on it.
Is it?
You want to roll?
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out what it is.
There's no way this ends well.
There's every way.
I think
We're
this
just gonna
guy's
freak
on to
out,
some
think he's
stuff.
been mind controlled and punch us all to death. He's gonna absolutely devastate all of us in about 10 seconds.
What the fuck?
It's okay. He probably has like 3 HP.
These
so-
ones are D10.
Look, I'm not bragging, but if you were to
Sure.
punch
I'm
someone
not
like 10
bragging.
times, they would probably die.
Banners, it took me 3 punches for each of those crocodiles. That's only 3, okay?
Forgus, I believe it. I believe it.
I mean, if you mess with me, you
Just promise not to absolutely devastate
I
us.
come from a family of killers. You know this. I'm a killer. You're a killer. We're all killers here.
Plus another 7.
Like maybe a tooth or maybe an eyeball.
I'm like an eyeball or maybe a tooth. That's how dangerous I am.
37
Plus 4.
is 41.
Okay, that's first round.
I think
How
that
old
follows.
were you when you started dating college
48.
chicks?
Plus another 8.
Jesus is 56.
I don't trust any potential succubus.
We're up to 64 HP. I don't know how much HP this guy has, but we're up to 64 and still counting.
Keep going.
Keep going. And then another 4.
68
Retriever.
is
Forgus,
70.
it's been fun.
71.
Oh, no, there's still one more.
So, I mean, the only
76 HP.
so is it like there's the ghost stream, and by the way, if you're getting coming back, be sure to stock up. And he knocks the fuck out. And Seamus just looks at him.
He was looking really tired.
He could probably use a nap. He's been up talking for a long time. I might actually get some rest. I should probably go talk to Myriad, calm her down a little bit.
Do you know he was? Go ahead.
Just give her a heads up. You know he might come up swinging, so just take care of yourselves.
Oh, we'll watch ourselves. I know.
Do you know what he might have been saying as he so tenderly fell asleep about stoking up on something?
Well, I think that if there's any opportunity for you to go on a secure any kind of passage, that you should be ready to. How long is it going to take you to sail or fly or whatever you're going to do?
Oh, I would agree. Okay.
So you should be prepared for
So
a long
he
voyage.
requires no kind of special payment for this kind of help.
Well, I think
As long as
he
we
at the very least owes me. He doesn't owe Avantris.
All right.
He's gonna want that proof though, and I don't think it'll hurt us to try to find something.
Well, I think you could probably lord that over him pretty easily. I'm only saying that because he's knocked out. You could probably, if you can offer any kind of validation for anything he says, he'll probably do anything you ask.
It's good to know. It's good to know. All right. Well, Seamus, take care of yourself.
I will. I'll probably stick around here. At least I got some company. I'm not left in a. And I can reach out and I'll go talk to my sources and try to confirm if anyone's seen any ghost ship as well. And maybe
Thank you, we appreciate
maybe
it.
I'll send for you if the Myriad is too tender.
Yeah, please. Maybe just keep her away from us as long as you can. I'd appreciate it.
Will do.
All right, we'll be going.
So
Be safe, all. Be safe. You can
Stealth
always use
checks.
that.
Let's get out of the kench.
Genji, you can always use that mind magic on me. It might freak out Forgus if you try to use it on him, so just...
Don't worry, I really don't want to know how he replies to the voices in his head.
You can break his brain.
I think it's better for all of us if you have me as the target and I'll relay anything. Got it?
That sounds like the best plan.
Okay, good.
That said, it does sound fucking hilarious to do a setting to him and see what he does.
So good.
Anyway.
So I briskly walk.
Stealth
to...
check out of the kench.
All right.
Group self check.
18.
6.
22.
And I will be
ooh,
around bit.
Was that?
That is a 6.
Rudek?
18.
Okay. You manage to make your way out of the kench without much difficulty. You get it's starting to return to normal. You see that the relief efforts are well underway as you're leaving, and if you remember, the kench didn't seem to be hit as hard. They didn't seem to get that far into the city from the sea.
but people have been taking the opportunity to do that, to kind of the chaos in order to be a little bit sketchy, but you make out your way out without getting stopped or roughed up, and you no combat. So where are you guys headed?
To
the stables.
Stables.
Okay. As you're going, the smell of decay and destruction and death has dissipated a little bit. Like I said, the relief efforts are on their way. You do see that repairing the city for a lot of people has already begun. A lot of these people, if they lost their homes, they're the only ones actually going to fix it. So people repairing their homes, repairing their businesses, and you see seagulls everywhere, carrying bodies, helping lost people, children who may have lost their parents or are unable to find their home. And you make your way to the stable, and you had left Piccolo and Rambi. And although it seems as if everything is like very spooked, you talk to, just for the sake of brevity, you talk to the stable master, and he says that the pirates didn't really stop in. They stole one of the horses, but Piccolo and Rambi seemed to actually put up a bit of a fight, and so smashed one of the pirates, and so they just kind of ran away and didn't think it was worth it.
That's a good lad. Good lad.
Pat on Piccolo.
So I
give Rambi a good scratch. Does it seem safe here?
I mean, you get the idea that it's post, it's pretty crazy, but the stable master is still alive. He wasn't killed or kidnapped, and he, it's roughed up. Some of it.
There's got to be another stable closer to Noble Garden, right?
I mean,
yeah.
It sounds like they're as safe here as they've ever been. Like
No,
they're no worse off now.
That's a great point. I'd like them closer. So
yeah, it's not my animal, so go for it.
I'm sure we can find a stable much closer to, if not inside Noble Garden.
Okay.
So I let him know that, hey, we'll be leaving, and I think I paid for more than we've been here. So I'll just let him keep the change.
Okay. I think you paid for like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks, and so you've been here almost there, but there were probably a few extra days here and there. We'll say.
So keep the change.
He's appreciative. He thanks you, and you take Piccolo and Rambi. They seem a little spooked about what happened, but you check them, and there's no wounding, or they don't seem to be in any kind of physical pain. So they're walking with you. You guys can mount them if you choose, or just kind of walk through the streets. So you're walking through the streets, and where are you guys gonna head?
Back to Noble Garden, I guess. Unless you guys had anything else you wanted to do.
I mean, the only thing I was thinking of was check at the inn to see if we have.
A summons.
Yeah.
So going back to Noble Garden.
Yeah. I didn't have anything to do outside of
definitely, because we were waiting for what, Alphonse?
Yeah.
Alphonse, Vito. We need to conference with the serpents to figure out what the hell they can do about this.
Right.
Okay, yeah, and just while I want to once we get back to Noble Garden, I want to look around for. There's got to be noble stables, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just say, for the sake of brevity, it's considerably more expensive. This is plush. It's luxury. You do get the sense that this was hit pretty hard. A good number of the horses were stolen. And you get the sense that maybe one of the stable boys was slain. But the owner is still there. It is staffed, and there is lodging. Obviously, similar to the other stable, they don't usually get axe beaks or giant rams, but they get enough travelers from strange, far off capitals and the like that they get strange mounts, so they are equipped. And we'll say you guys pay a certain. How much do you want to do new lodging for? Guys, how long do you want to put them up for?
What's that?
How much do you want to put them up for?
Let's do a week.
A week, so that would probably be about 10 gold for both of them.
Okay. I'm marking it off.
So 10 gold for 2 animals for a week. That seems not reasonable. Whatever. And so they seem a little bit more comfortable. You get the sense when you part with them that they are a little bit more at ease and with the more plush, comfortable lodgings. So you're feeling pretty good about how well they'll be taken care of.
So they're both alive.
Great.
Yeah.
So now go back
Let's
and
go check for messages.
Yeah.
So you're going to go back to the Wit and Whimsy?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
So, as you get to the Wit and Whimsy, you can see that order is slowly being restored. You guys have been gone for probably half the day, a lot of the day. And you've... you get to the inn, and you see that Grenda, the innkeeper or the hotel manager, is calming down a little bit. Remember, she was very flustered that morning, and she seems to be getting semblance. You get the sense that shipment that she was worried that wasn't going to come in. Actually, she was able to yell at enough people to get enough supplies for everybody. Regular food operations seems to have been restored, and so. You guys are back, and then so as soon as you enter, she says, "Oh, you! I'm glad to see that you're okay. How is the city doing?"
Surprisingly well for the kind of attack that your city just went through. People are already rebuilding, so it's very admirable, I'd say.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you are very noble for nobles to go out into such carnage when you could stay in such plush, comfortable accommodations. But I do have a letter for you, actually. And she holds up an envelope, and it has a seal. This is kind of an orangish red, and it has the stamp, and the symbol is an egg. And she hands it to you.
It's an egg?
An egg.
An egg?
An egg.
As in the egg of
A
eternity.
gaudy,
Yeah,
a gaudy
so probably
looking egg.
Vito. Okay, so we take it.
Is it addressed to anybody?
It's addressed to Leonidas, Lou, and Mademoiselle.
I hand it
You're
to her.
Leonidas for all time.
I'm sorry, I was reading Twitch chat. I apologize.
So
you said she handed it to me, or it's addressed to
To the
Leonidas?
three of you guys.
The three nobles are
I can't even remember my own fake name.
Antonidas.
Antonidas. God damn it.
That's why I said you're Leonidas for all time.
Antonidas.
Brush your teeth!
Brush your teeth. Okay.
So we go up to the room to read it. I assume?
Also, why don't we start the next giveaway? I think we're good to go. How about the
sure.
word can be hag? The word can be hag.
Yeah, sure.
So H-A-G.
Well, we already have people
Oh,
say
yeah,
hags.
okay.
Let's just do something different.
So we're going to do a different word. What are we going to do here? What's
Dracula?
that? Dracula. So we're going to do Dracula. The word is Dracula. So if you say Dracula in chat, if you're watching on Facebook, what is it?
Twitch
In
chat.
Twitch chat. So if you're watching on Facebook, please come onto Twitch and leave a comment Dracula, and you will be entered, and we'll randomly select somebody out of all of our viewers who said the word Dracula in the next 10 minutes or so. And
Grabbing a beer quick while you do this.
Yeah.
And just to kind of sum up the content or the giveaway is if you say Dracula and you're chosen, you get to pick a vinyl sticker of your choice. This is just a selection. These are all the different class symbols from 5th edition. We have a D20. We can do the D&D ampersand. We have this adorable owlbear from the other campaign,
Hootsie.
the Fae campaign, Hootsie. She's super cute. Or really any other D&D sticker that you would want in pretty much any color you want. So, say Dracula, and you might get a chance to win.
Starting now.
So go ahead and say Dracula. If you're on Facebook, please. We're on Twitch, so that's Twitch is where all of the magic happens. Daytime Dracula, we'll count daytime Dracula. Yeah. We'll count that. Or nighttime Dracula, or
We don't discriminate against Draculas
No, we don't.
any kind.
Yeah.
Afternoon Delight Dracula.
Yeah, I mean that's my
That's my favorite kind.
That was
Very spicy Dracula.
like spicy memes.
How did you know?
Unbelievable.
Okay, so we're going to go up to the room and we're going to open the letter
The letter. Yep.
and see what it says.
We'll wait. Should we wait for Annulin to get back?
Somewhere.
And so I guess just while we're waiting for Annulin, more announcements. More announcents.
Yes.
Midsummer
I meant
Night's
to do
Dream
this in the beginning.
Dracula.
The 6 of us are going to be at KatsuCon.
Yay!
If anyone's going to KatsuCon DC area in mid-February, President's Day weekend, it's an anime convention. It's a lot of fun. Nikki and I will be hosting a Dungeon Master panel, and so it'll be a lot of fun. So if you're in the DC area, stopping by, come say hi. We'd love to chat with you. Come to the panel, and if not, we'll miss you guys.
we
And
won't
hey,
be
General
streaming
Stonewall Jr., welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Say Dracula if you want to be entered into a contest. Say
So
Dracula.
that actually raises a good point because 2 Wednesdays from now we'll be traveling to see you guys,
Yes.
obviously. So we
Yeah.
probably won't play 2 Wednesdays from now, but we'll play next Wednesday. And
Yeah.
we'll give everybody another heads up.
Yeah.
That we'll be at Katsu, and please, if you're going to be at Katsu, either write on our Facebook wall or contact us on Twitter
Or Discord.
Because I personally would love to meet people. I think that's like the coolest thing in the whole world. So come say hi. Let's make friends and be awesome together.
What do you need from it?
The other thing, I think there's one
the
other
rules
thing
are
that I was
turned
going to say.
Do we want to try to stream the panel? Would that be possible?
I don't know.
I think
I
it
don't,
would be really
I don't think,
difficult
yeah.
to do.
I think that we could try, but I don't think it's
That would be like a let's talk about it offline
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought it might be. A
Well, welcome,
good idea.
guys. And so now that we're back to the session, you make your way
It's a spell.
to your comfortable room.
No, it's a
You
clear
can see that the help has finally arrived to clean up everything. They had been a little bit delayed in the morning, but they're finally here.
channel.
Or they finally cleaned everything up. And you are all in the same room. Are you going to open the letter and read it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so you open it, and you see that seal with the egg, and you crack it open, and you pull out a folded piece of paper. You unfold it, and it is a handwritten letter. The handwriting is actually quite poor, but you're able to make out the chicken scratch. And as you start to read it, the ink actually lights up and glows, as if it's been some kind of magical
cool.
ink. And it says, "Dearest friends, Amalia told me of your bravery, and that I have you 5 to thank for my life. Although my collection and my workshop have been ravaged."
I can do his voice.
Well, it's a letter. You don't know who it's from.
Okay.
Although my workshop has been pillaged and I feel responsible for what's happened to the city, I owe all of you my life. Please come by, and so we may become even better acquainted, and I may thank you. Your dear friend, Vito Velocic.
Does he mean?
I'm in.
Does he mean his mansion, or does he mean what is being held at?
Well, I'm
Blood Anchor.
imagining they've let him go by now.
Hey, well, hopefully,
Probably the mansion.
Hopefully they did
He
a
would
good
want
check.
to take care of his property, his
Yeah.
estate.
All right.
He knows it's destroyed, so.
Okay. This is what I've been waiting for. So I'm ready. Did it say any like time? He said, or
Just
just
said
He said,
whenever.
"Come by.
Come by.
Let's go.
Make sure when the time is right, you whip out your horn with the sure fastness of someone who's very confident.
Oh, you have no idea. I'm so ready. I'm gonna show everybody my horn. All right, let's go.
Okay. You make your way through Noble Garden, and you can see that the this is the theme of the evening, but that normalcy is starting to return. It's only been a day, but it's been especially quick in Noble Garden. A lot of nobles you kind of see they're nervous and they're shaken, but they're also kind of just irritated that this happened, rather than kind of the devastating loss that a lot of the commoners have felt. They're just kind of they've been minorly inconvenienced. And you make your way around, and you are able to, as you approach the Egg of Eternity and you see Vito's manor and his estate, you see kind of the extent of the damage. You see where some of those meteor boulder things had hit into his mansion. They had missed the sides of the cliff. The museum, the beautiful glass domes, all of the multicolored panes has been shattered. A lot of it has been, and you see cut pieces of artifacts. It is very, very, very heavily guarded. And as you make your way up, a number of sea eagles stop you and say, "What business do you have here?"
We were
Show them the
summoned
seal.
by Vito.
Yeah,
Who has the seal?
I
Oh.
Sorry,
As
sir.
soon as they see it, they say, "Oh, of course." And so basically, we'll just go through this. Anytime a sea eagle stops you, you show them the sigil of Amalia Theramore, and they just let you pass without question. You can get the sense that these are
hardened soldiers. They may not have always been the most disciplined, but they very much, of all things, respect their commander, their High Lord. And you meet up with a seagull that guides you to Vito's manor. As you look in, you can see the bloodstains. Once you get to his manor, you can see slashes through paintings that he has. Some of the carpet torn up. You can see maybe some claws from the feet of some of these crocodilian creatures tearing up the ground. This was definitely a battle. As you look around, you see that it was probably heavily defended. But just by the sheer size of King Krem, you probably assume that he and his gang cut them down pretty effortlessly. And you reach that same familiar door with a stairway going upwards into his workshop. And the woman that had guided you in, I don't think her assistant unit, I don't think you ever got her name, but she was at the museum basically supervising the cleanup and the repair. And so just a seagull said, he's upstairs. And just make sure you announce yourself.
All right.
So we go up and...
Okay. You're gonna go up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
So you make your way up the stairs. You see once again the signs of battle, the signs of combat. There's blood on the walls. And you make it to the open doorway of his workshop. You hear a loud clanking and things falling over and the zaps of what sounds like little bits of sparks. And as you go over, you see Vito's workshop, and it looks how you left it, but in total disarray. Things are missing off the walls. That same familiar golem-looking creature, the metallic-looking golem, is scattered about in pieces that you had seen. A lot of different tools, bits of glass shattered, and the door, however, that you saw him approach to go down to his private collection, you see whatever panel was on the side of it is hacked, is blown apart, is all sorts of tampered with, and it seemed as if the door remained sturdy.
Wow.
And you, as you're walking through, you see Vito hunched over, fidgeting with something. You see sparks, these blue magical sparks, zapping out from behind him. You see his same familiar large orange mustache coming out from behind his small head. His goggles are tied tightly around his head. His form is hunched. He seems to be grabbing bits of metal here and there and just clanging it together and working on something.
so I'd just like to, I guess, knock on something nearby and... Vito?
Oh my, you scared me. I'm sorry, my wits. It's the heroes of the day, my saviors.
We didn't mean to startle you. Our apologies.
Molly had told me everything, and you got my letter, I assume.
We did. And we're very glad you're safe.
I am very glad you're safe, and I have you to thank for the fact that I draw breath.
Well, we really have Sylvie's quick thinking to thank, so...
It was... I thank you. Sylvie, I thought your name was Lou.
I lied to you about my name.
Is that true?
Yeah, me
All
too.
of you?
Sorry.
His lip is kind of
You must
quivering.
understand that, with certain precautions must be taken.
You may remember that I came in as a guard or bodyguard.
I remember that. Yes.
But then
yes,
later,
yes.
I was wearing a ram mask, but we spoke at the masquerade, and we spoke briefly of artifacts.
The horn. Or no, the artifacts. You were telling me about that. No,
Yeah.
The artifacts.
Yeah.
Yes.
The
We were going to do a
artifacts.
lunch or a light lunch or maybe a brunch or something.
We were. We were. So Anyway, when I introduced myself to you during the masquerade, I said my name was Rodek, and that was the truth. And like Avantris said, because of the dangerous goings on in the city, we knew something was afoot before this happened, and we just had no idea the scale of the attack. And so we were flying under the radar with our disguises, and we meant nothing. We meant no ill will by it. And so now we would like to be honest. My name is Rodek.
Sylvie.
My
real name's Amulin. I'm sorry we lied.
My name is Genji.
And his name
And
is
I, of
Leonidas.
course, am Vandra's True Strike. No one has ever heard of me.
Well, it's true I haven't, but I'm sure I have heard of you now. So that's some solace. Some solace, I suppose.
No one's ever heard of me.
I don't care that you lied. Obviously, there was some strange, weird business going on. And as he stands up and he goes and shakes each one of your hands, I am Vito. Oh, we've already met, of course. But you could have lied about the worst things, but because you saved my life, I thank you so much, and I am in your debt.
And not to quickly change the subject, but that door over there seems to have taken a pretty severe beating.
Well, I've made the proper deductions that the sharp eyes of you all, that those sea cultists were stationed in my very manor. And I think they were going to cut off my hand or use me to get through the door and kill me.
Barbaric.
Obviously,
quite the plan.
That I think is that's what I think. They tried to get in, and my magical, at the very least that worked. But as we saw, I never thought that they would go through the cliffs. I never thought they'd just blow a hole open. I should have thought about the architecture and where I built my manor. I guess my love of a good view really fucked me.
Have you, I know it's probably still very raw, but have you taken an inventory of what's been taken and what's still left?
I'm doing the best I can. Much of it fell into the sea, much of them stolen. And then my prized weapon I was working on. Amalia told me that the king or the captain, I'm not really sure, of the pirates
Probably both.
almost killed her with it, which would have just made me feel awful.
So have you taken a serious or accurate inventory of what has been taken?
I'm in the middle of it, and certain weapons, really just relics and trinkets and weapons. Nothing major beyond the helmet I believe I showed you.
If it makes you feel any better, the individual that had the weapon you were crafting, he seemed to be unable to use it.
Well, I hope so. I made it pretty self-explanatory, but lizard folk are pretty stupid, but I'm not racist. It's not a race thing. I'm telling you, I have a lot of lizard folk friends.
Have you met my buddy Forgus? I feel like you guys would probably get along.
I've never heard of a Forgus.
Okay, neither here nor there. Forget it.
Well, tomorrow I'll reach out to him, I think. You must leave me
The
his
best
information.
joke.
I'm sure he would greatly appreciate that.
So you obviously know that they took the helm that you just
I did.
referenced. Do you happen to know have you heard what he used it for?
I did. I got the full download from Amalia, and it was... I didn't realize what I had.
Do we know where the gems came from?
Well, you showed me the chalking of the bas-relief, and I remember the shape of the gems. And I thought to myself that there was... It seemed strangely familiar, the shaping, and I believe that they came from the very ruins that I had told you about, where the bas-relief was retrieved.
Pause.
Yes.
Out of character. We ripped a gem out of the forehead of a giant moving statue.
Did you?
Nope, out of character.
Oh.
Did we?
Yeah, am I the only one who remembers this?
was like third session when we
Wait, did we do
went
what?
to the
There
Dragon
was a
Temple.
giant moving statue that was basically wearing like a crown with a gem in it, and
we
I
have that
climbed
thing.
up on its back and pried the gem out of the helmet, and it like stopped moving.
Was that in like the sarcophagus?
No,
kind of room?
I don't think we pried the gem out. I think you pried the crown off because
Yes,
in our
we have the
inventory we have the
crown.
We have
crown
the
with
crown.
the gem in it.
Yeah.
Okay,
In our bag.
so I guess my point is to the group: is it similar? Is it well? I mean, do we know anything about it? Is it worth showing Vito, etc., etc.? Just throwing it out there.
I don't think it hurts to show him.
I thought we
We
decided.
already had.
I thought we decided it wasn't magical. Didn't we decide that?
No, so the last time we talked to him,
To Vito.
Vito, I showed him both our fairy statue, because we have a
Right.
statue of a fey woman, and I also showed him the crown with the gem in it, and he was like freaking out. But I didn't let him touch it. I held it up to him with mage hand. So he's
I
saying
thought
he
we
was
showed him
incredibly
the
crazy.
bear medallion.
That's how we got in. But when we were here, he wanted to know what else we had. So I showed him both of those things in that session.
That sounds right.
Okay.
So, what can you tell us about the helm that Orpheus used to summon the Dragon Target?
I was up all as soon as the bloody seagulls let me go, and they got some of the books from my library when I begged them. I threatened to stop eating, and no one wants that. No one wants that. They got some of my books, and I researched, and I believe I've deduced what the artifact was. I believe it's an ancient black dragon-born helmet called the Eyes of the Abyss. It has, when the gems were in it, it had the ability to tear open the gates to the plane of water. Had to be used by someone with some kind of connection and power that was able to use it. But in my research, I believe that this was lost to the Black Dragonborn when they were defeated ultimately and kept in a city as disassembled by the Bronze Dragonborn in whatever temple, and somehow it came into my possession and the gems into another archaeologist's possession, and this Orpheus gentleman put the pieces together, and there's a dragon turtle out there.
I feel like he didn't do this on his own. He's a smart and crafty individual, but I have the feeling that he didn't just stumble upon this alone.
Why would... Hold on, so the bas relief that he took the gems out of, that was a green dragonborn.
No.
No. Oh, it was on the coast.
Triton
That was the thing
Azran.
that was left in his tent.
Yeah.
that we
He
usually
had found it on the coast near Goldhaven.
It's all coming together.
How many years ago did you... Anyway, oh my god.
Mikey's got just his wall is nothing but push pins.
Yeah,
Fuck tons of push
string,
pins.
like
It's one of
going all
those-
over the wall.
Yeah, he's like one of those creepy cops who's like looking at serial killers. And he's like,
Exactly.
No, it is literally what's that? True Detective. It is literally
Yeah.
True Detective storage unit up in my room.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow, so... This is all connected to the Black Dragon.
I believe this is where the technology, the artifact, comes from. Their ancient magic of whatever I believe they used from their island chain, the swamps of those islands. They used the connection of some ability to harness this helm and others to be a naval force to be reckoned with.
I'd like to turn to Ganji and ask him. So I don't know much about the Dragonborn. Honestly, you're the first one I've ever met. Are the chromatic dragons a thriving civilization? I mean, is this are they rare? Is this something that there's a lot of them and they're looking for this?
There are enough of them that we've never been able to overcome each other in a centuries-long war. So, no, they're not particularly rare, at least where I come from. But
Interesting.
the Dragonborn civilizations, both metallic and chromatic, have been reduced over the years and centuries to a series of nation states in the southern regions in Nekbet. The push up the remnants of the civilization from up here are thousands of years old, not current. There's nothing new about this. This is all ancient stuff.
So then, what?
Absolutely correct. Good job.
Being that you're both fans of history, it seems.
Who isn't? I thought you said you were a fan of history yourself.
I am actually.
Okay, good.
Some of us are more proficient in it than others.
But I did tell you I dabbled in it. It's basically his profession. He's a bit of a researcher. So
I like stealing.
I want to
steal.
Well,
I'm the Hobbit man.
so we recently did find out that the Undertow Island and all the island chain to the west was a fortress to the Black Dragonborn Empire. So can you tell us anything else about what could possibly be on that island left from those times that they would be harnessing to gain such power?
Well, my understanding, and maybe Ganji can correct me, but in all of my research, the battle was so vicious, much of it was lost, but there's relatively common knowledge that there was dabbling in dark magic, that black dragons particularly were very cowardly and would use whatever they possibly could to get ahead, and if it was dark magic or any kind of boon. So who knows what could be there?
You know what I bet is there? That blue and red dragonborn that we saw at the masquerade. Weren't they those regular colored dragons? They weren't the pretty shiny ones like Ganji.
Yes, they were. We have seen chromatic dragonborn around here in other aspects. I know they were talking to Alphonse about something, and it sounded like they got at least something they were looking for. I don't know that they would go. I mean, the place we heard they were going to wasn't
Totally
this.
opposite direction.
Yeah, I was just checking.
Yeah, they were gonna go. They were gonna take a boat though. South
So they might be dead.
or no, north. They were going
south.
to Gaunsmith,
Gaunsmith. was south.
not to the island.
Southeast.
Okay.
Yeah, last we heard they were traveling to Gunsmith, not anywhere around here, but
Well, maybe they're a fan of shellfish. There's just nothing but a fisherman out that way.
there's, as you said, there are ruins of the place.
True. They are in the marshland surrounding it. It's very treacherous. Could be lots of lost history there if they are history fans. I believe the one ruin was found around that area as well. But did you get any sense of what they were looking for?
We didn't, right?
Not really. You just
Yeah.
Just that they're doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So we learned that
there was a contact that
Right.
Alphonse had in Gaunsmith.
So we do know that Alphonse seems to be doing business with a red and green dragonborn, and that he introduced them, or at least put them in contact with a contact that he had.
Well, he's not one to shy away from a business deal.
Yeah.
He shakes a lot of hands.
And so he doesn't necessarily discriminate regarding
Usually not.
their nefarious deeds, if they happen to be.
I think that he thinks of himself as a shrewd businessman.
I can respect that.
So, if we're being honest and coming, forthwith with information, to be honest with you, we're looking to follow the people who did this. We want to find Orpheus. We need to bring him to justice. Obviously, the normal mode of transportation is not up for debate right now. So, if you have any idea of how we could make it to this island without using a boat, we'd be open to the idea.
He thinks for a moment and says, well, with the dragon turtle out there, it's going to be very dangerous if it's guarding the city from any pursuing ships. I could try to check my workshop, but I will admit, I was working on a flying contraption, but much of my progress was unfortunately wiped out in the attack. And I don't know.
What are we talking about for time and as far as research and development goes?
If I fast tracked it, it would take weeks, if not longer.
That's kind of what I figured.
And they even smashed Chompy. And then you look over his shoulder, and on his desk, and the little dragon whelpling thing is like, char, char.
Those bastards.
I'm trying to put it back together.
I'm sure you'll fix it.
I do have one more question for you.
Yes, Vanders, my dearest friend.
Please don't take this the wrong way, but do you trust Alphonse LeBlanc?
Oh, of course I trust Alphonse LeBlanc. Who doesn't? He's the most
So
trustworthy
far,
man on Goldhaven.
We haven't met a single person who doesn't trust him yet.
He's the most trustworthy person in all of Goldhaven.
We've met one. Have you, and this is just pure curiosity, have you ever seen him outside during the day?
Well, I believe he's very busy with his alchemy during the day. He finds that he's most productive. That's what he tells the council.
So he keeps to himself during the day.
He works hard during the day.
Every
He plays hard at night every day. He's a workaholic. I tell him to take a break every now and then, but he does at night. But take a whole day or a weekend off. Have a good brunch. I've invited him to brunch a lot, and he's always declined, actually.
And you don't find that odd, even the slightest.
I respect his work ethic. I would be farther along on my flying contraption. It's all messed up. Filled with crud and sludge.
Well, so obviously, if you know what happened, it's clear that we don't have time for you to invent a flying contraption or to wait around, honestly, for more than a few more days to develop a plan. So, any help we could get to go after Orpheus would be greatly appreciated, but can you think of any of the other Silver Serpents who could help us out?
Well, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how Reeve could help you. And honestly, Bartholomew, and he's a dear friend of mine. He's out there, and I don't know how he has a lot of money. And Campana, unless you want to bring a full orchestra with you, then you might be able to play music to kill them, bore them to death. But Amalia is the best. Well, let me think. I believe I have something that may be able to help you. And he spends some time rummaging through his workshop. And he pulls out a satchel. And it's this gray, this gray felt bag, nicely wrapped. And he hands it to you. He says, I believe this might be able to help you at least a little bit. And go ahead and open it.
I open it.
So you see inside 5...
Anthrax.
5 kind of oblong...
on the ground.
5 oblong-shaped kind of stones, but in the center of each of these is marked with a blue swirling rune. And he says, I've figured out a way
to create Ultra Balls.
Yes, and capture that damned Alakazam.
What the hell?
We have Pokeballs, now we have Ultra
James,
Balls.
we're doing 5e. Sorry, James, on Facebook.
Oh,
Hey
right,
there, Tyler. These, are you familiar with the spell Sending?
Yes,
Oh,
I am,
No,
actually.
never heard
More
of
than
it.
you know.
So, if you take these stones, they are all attuned together, all 5 of them. If you have a stone on your person, and you each take a stone on your person, and press the blue swirly biz, it'll light up and you talk into it, and it will basically cast Sending to the holder of all the other stones.
Rocky Talkie!
Every was saying that these are sending stones, but I said, no, that's usually 2. This is 5, and I want to call them Rocky Talkies.
This is the thing that I never knew that I wanted until this moment.
So these should be able to assist you.
Well, this is very generous.
And while I don't have much, I believe that... Go ahead.
I pick up mine. I say, "Does this one come with grinder?" I said tinder.
Well, I guess I could fashion a meat grinder attachment if you want to make some hamburgers on the road. Grounder, a meat grounder. Enjoy a bucket of chicken.
Chicken liver.
So I'm gonna test it. I'm like,
Okay.
Breaker.
Are you going to pass it out?
Was that
Yeah, everyone gets it.
yeah, pass it
Okay.
out. Are they different at all? Or are they all exactly the
They're
same?
all exactly the same.
Okay. I go, breaker.
10-4, good buddy. Looks like we've got ourselves a
So
convoy.
as soon as Rodette talks, you hear in your mind his voice. And you can't respond telepathically. That is the difference between sending. You need to talk back in your Rocky-talkie, or else it'd be Rocky-talkie but also mind stuff. So it's Rocky-talkie, you talking to the rock every time. Understood?
So did I hear Ganji respond?
Yeah. You heard Ganji, all of you heard Ganji respond in your mind.
This is going to be so useful.
Vandra's gonna hook up all across Avantris.
Baby.
I'm sorry,
Tinder.
that got me. That got me.
I'll attach a grounder.
You gotta get on that app.
Rocky talk.
Well, this will be very useful in the fight we have ahead.
And
thank you.
I have kept this on my person, but I believe where you're going, I believe you may need it more than I do. And he takes his big, fat, saucy fingers, and he has this ring, and he kind of, he spits in it, and he rips off a finger, and there seems to be, or not a finger, he is not wrong finger. The DM is a moron.
off his
The
finger.
DM is a moron. He's not wrong finger. He rips the ring off of his finger. Word. I forgot. I accidentally a word.
I was like, I'll take the finger, give someone else.
Right? No, I was
Rips
like,
off
I was
his
expecting
finger
that to
in the ring.
reveal. I was like, oh shit.
He pulls off the ring,
I
and
didn't think what's his name was actually right about them all being undead, but apparently this guy's designing.
there's a C design on it, and he hands it and says, "You can fight over this, but if you fall overboard, this should let you walk on water."
Ooh.
And he hands whomever Rodek, I
We'll
guess.
put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah.
We'll put it in the bag of
I have
holding.
an out of character question.
Yep.
How does swimming work?
It is an athletics check. You should have a swim speed, and
That's terrible.
yeah, it's all about strength.
Okay,
But-
so like your speed, like your land walking speed does not translate to swimming speed.
Right.
Boo.
There used to be like a swimming skill or whatever.
We can talk about that offline.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
Sorry.
It's fine. No, it's a good
But does
question.
me being in armor like just make me instantly sink and die?
Yes,
Read what it says.
Oh.
it should.
No, he means without.
Oh yeah,
this
oh
one.
absolutely.
Without
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Okay. So basically one of us should probably.
Well, you, because I can prepare water walking.
Oh shit. All right. Ooh, I immediately put it on. I
It's
guess it
actually
fits
the
pretty
same
well.
size as your finger. That's what,
Ooh, good fit.
Also, I don't know if this takes attunement, but I'm
It
actually
doesn't.
I'm capped out on attunement. So.
It
Yeah,
does
okay.
not take attunement.
Misaki
Cool.
says it's half of your walking speed. Okay, so that's what it is,
No,
guys.
unless you're a lizard
And if
folk.
then if it's rough water, I think then you make an athletics check. You can help us out, chat.
Yeah.
Obviously the DM doesn't know all the rules. Sorry, guys.
Talking about finger food to go.
Oh, got it.
Hey.
So, he says, "How do you plan to pursue?"
Well, Vito, I don't know if you have any additional time.
I
But,
do. I have.
I think that Rodek and I have a little satchel of things that we wanted to have you take a look at and see if, I don't know, what you want to do with them. like if you wanted to buy them from us, I guess.
Oh.
Like we had all those things that we didn't want to sell because they seemed rare and magical or historical, and we thought someone like you might want to take a look at them and tell us, you know, what they're worth or if they're interesting. Or I know that your place was ransacked. Maybe you want to add some more to your collection.
I'm going to need to flesh out some of my exhibits. That's for sure.
Well, so I think that sounds like a great plan, and I'd definitely love to speak about artifacts, but let's finish talking about the plan at hand. Not that we necessarily have one, but we are working on procuring, hopefully, some kind of vessel to approach the island. And beyond that, we don't really have any other information.
I had an idea. How cool would it be if we could take something and use magic, like maybe 2 slices of bread, some tomatoes, some lettuce, maybe some sliced meat, and we put it together, call it like a submarine. And then we could all get in the sandwich, and then with magic, we could go under the water and get to the island.
You're a thinker!
Thanks, Leah.
I've never made such an invention. That would be very impressive if you could do that with those materials. That is a magical...
Thank you.
Anything similar, though? That's not a bad idea. Maybe crab legs?
Is bread waterproof?
Well, no, that's part of the magic.
It's a wizard did it, right? So
Yeah, I just thought the name submarine sounded kind of cool, and it made me think of a meaty sandwich.
Oh, is anyone else hungry? I could go for a meaty sandwich. All this talk about
Well,
food.
Rodek wants to show you his horn.
I could as well.
Well, I'll have it. And he claps and then sends a servant off to go fetch some lunch.
And bring mayonnaise and an instrument. I want to be serenaded while we eat.
No. We don't have much of a plan, and you've already done quite a lot for us. So our plan is to speak with at least Alphonse and try to understand if he can help us in any way. And if you can think of any other way that you could help, it would be greatly appreciated.
Well, I'll check around the remains of my storehouse and my office, and if there's anything else, I'll reach out to you. You're still at the same hotel.
That's true.
Yeah.
And for all intents and purposes, the lady at the front desk knows us as Lou, Antonitis, and Mademoiselle, so you can continue to leave messages under those names.
If you call for it.
Okay, very well. I understand things are sensitive with all the horrible pirates and around. Horrible business.
It is.
That's true.
So
Before we go, so those horrible pirates, some of them were riding on giant vultures. What do you know about those? Where do they come from?
good question.
Well, giant vultures are a naturally occurring species, and I've never seen them utilized so effectively to have an aerial force like that, but my guess, as good as anyone's really, is that they have bred these things and trained them as aerial mounts. You have people having giant owls and eagles as mounts in various parts of the world. I assume they
We have a
did
giant
so.
ram.
Wow.
Avantris, do you know where they might come from around here?
Well, to be honest, what Vito's describing sounds like something that would take years and years. I mean, it's possible that Orpheus has been planning this for forever. I would almost venture to guess that there's some sort of control element at work.
They might breed them on that island, like way out in the middle of the
That's
sea.
not a bad
It's
idea.
certainly
Sid.
possible.
I mean, they have been, they're native to the region. There's no reason to think why they wouldn't be out in the Undertow Island or that whole archipelago.
Including a 2-headed vulture.
That I don't know.
It was
horrible
huge.
ancient beast.
That sounds like some sandwich magic kind of shit.
It does.
Hmm.
So, if you have a few spare moments, I would like to discuss artifacts with you.
Yes.
In particular, this. And like my grinder profile says, who said that? I show him my horn. I whip out my horn.
What could you tell me about this?
He gasps as soon as he sees it, and he grabs it.
I pass it right to him.
And he holds up the mammoth horn. I guess about yay big.
Grip it firm now.
He grips it
Firmly.
firmly, and he's eyeing it. Oh, it's cold. It's the
Yes.
touch.
Just like a Dracula.
Poor
He watches-
circulation.
He watches the frosty effect as he breathes on the mammoth horn.
Jesus. Twitch chat, man.
It's a horn, all right. So it's
The mammoth
it
punch.
just doesn't matter what degree it is outside. It's always cold to the touch.
Have you tried to blow it?
If we fail as D&D players, we're gonna go into softcore erotic novel porn writing because
Yeah,
this
we
is
will.
this is too easy, baby.
No, I have not tried to blow it.
I'm probably good that you don't.
I have been far too afraid that it would trigger something. I don't know almost nothing about it.
Well, you know these are giant runes.
I do. Frost Giant was my assumption.
I may not be so sure. I will need to take some time to examine this. Would you mind if I hold on to this and take... I'll need to be examining it while I work, rebuilding my workshop and my collection.
As long as you keep it safe.
I will. They didn't get out into there. I guess they did through the... I'll have to show that up.
Would you mind keeping the little satchel of additional things that I wanted to have you look at?
Of course.
Kind
What are we looking for here? Anything immediately interesting?
So
I could appraise.
I hand in the satchel is the soapstone statue that we had, a trident, the crown with the gem from the dragon's tomb, the one we were just talking about, a decorative dwarven gauntlet, an ornately carved statue of a fey woman, the 3 Baba Yaga pendants that we found on the hags.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's it from my bag of Vito. Yeah, that's it for the bag of Vito. And a great sword.
No, that's just my sword from Bumbled Town or whatever.
Oh, well, it's in there. So.
Okay.
Good old Bumble.
He roots around. He says, "Well, you can take these back." He chucks the trident and the great sword out. Those are just weapons.
Okay.
I tried to tell him.
I will take a look at the rest to make sure there's no magical or historical significance. It'll take some time. I'll need to reference a lot of my books. That's how I do a lot of my discerning. I have to channel a lot of my magical tools in concentration. It could take a while, but if you're going on a sea voyage, that seems awfully convenient. It's like it's a game or something.
As he looks in the camera.
We've already destroyed the 4th wall. There's nothing left to break.
Well, thank you so much, and please, let us know if there's anything else we can do to help you rebuild and add to your collection. We're happy to help.
I very much appreciate that. That is wonderful. I'll do my best, and just please stay safe. Use your rocky talkies.
We will.
They should come in very handy, and then I'll see if there's anything else that may help.
Thank you.
Rocky Talkie sounds like bait to get us to split the party.
His brilliant plan for the TV.
DM bait.
TVK incoming.
Well, anything else? Anybody else? We good?
For now.
Yeah.
Well, we will wait for word on. He was gonna look over the something.
Some other things.
No, that's like over the week, but something more immediate. He was gonna look in his collection.
He's gonna look at his collection and see if there's anything else that he can find to help.
Okay. All right. Well, you take care. You have a good night.
You do the same. Stay safe.
You will. And so we
Leave.
Okay.
So,
Back to the inn.
We're looking for some sort of communication from Alphonse.
we should have asked Vito to get us an introduction.
Well, he was already planning on reaching out to us. 'Cause he told Sylvie at the
He
party
was
that
interested
he
in
was.
Sylvie.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, I know. I just didn't know. I just wondered if plans, because that was before the battle.
Yeah,
he's hashtag Sylvie sexual.
That's true.
I like that.
So I guess that's true. I guess we could have asked Vito to
Yeah, but it's the day, so we know that Dracula's obviously sleeping.
True.
What time is it, Mike?
It's past sunset now.
It's past sunset,
Okay.
they say.
How
So-
convenient.
So
Back
Here we
to
go.
the-
probably by the time we get back to the inn, there will be a message from Dracula asking us to meet up for a late dinner and some wine.
Okay. Let's go back to the inn.
Sylvie's like, God, I wish that was me.
God, I wish that was me. Oh my. Okay. So you make your way back to the inn. You bid Vito farewell. You see his assistant, or the woman that runs the actual running of the museum, yelling at a few guards who are being too rough with some of the artifacts as they're kind of hauling them around and putting things back into place. And the laborers, they're working into the night. They're working by torchlight and lantern light. Let me just make sure. Let me just read up the music here. Read up this biz.
Uh-oh.
Just biz.
Actually, I don't know what happened. You make your way back to the Wit and Whimsy. When you arrive, you find that there is no letter waiting for you. No.
Shucks.
Too bad.
So I had a thought.
Go on.
Right now, we have no information at all right now. Or almost no
Normal.
information. And we happen to know that Diadra, who is a priestess of whatever, Umberly, has a temple on the other side of town.
Yeah.
So,
Just go poop on the temple.
if we want to go in there fully armed,
What the?
I'm going to pretend she didn't say that. And I'm assuming you actually said that.
Oh, of course you did.
So why don't we just try to see what we can learn? And pay a visit to I doubt they're still there. But-
So the last time we did that, things ended up not so great. I mean, I'm all for, I'm all for going in guns a-blazing like gangbusters. But it's just something to think about, that's all.
Well, I think that that's a terrible idea.
Why?
Like, probably worse than two people flying in on a broom and going invisible and trying to banish Dragon Turtle on their own and then teleporting out. I think that's probably worse than that idea, if someone ever suggested it. What I think we should do is, I'm pretty sure that Farquaad, whatever his name was, he said that there's a ghost ship. Why don't we go down to the docks and see if we can find ghost ship?
We can look for
It's
it on our
nighttime.
way. So my point is that there's no way they're still there. Amalia knows that they are up to no good. There's no way that the Sea Eagles will just let them continue to be there. And so if the Sea Eagles haven't completely destroyed the temple at this point, we could tear the place up. There won't be anyone around, and perhaps we can at least get some kind of information regarding what they're up to.
Well,
Do you think they'd actually leave anything behind?
Who knows?
I also don't think it's a good idea to tear up a temple. Like, yeah, I know we don't like them and everything, but the last thing I want is this Umberly chick to, like,
Especially if we're
let's
about
drown them all.
especially if we're about to try to travel over water.
I just
Like,
mean...
just because the children of the sea are a bunch of, jerks, doesn't mean that we should piss off Umberly.
Well, but I meant tear it up more metaphorically. Not literally tear it up, but at least investigate.
I don't mind the idea of walking. Another question: if this fisherman saw this supposed ghost ship sail into the harbor, Vandris, do we know of anyone who might know of a ship sailing in or out of the harbor, the dockmaster or anything?
Oh yes, absolutely. There are several people that would be at least would want to be aware of such a thing. Now, during a catastrophe such that we just went through, those standards and regulations may have been dropped, but I think there are at least have to be people who would still maintain an interest, obviously trying to do their jobs amidst the chaos.
it might be worthwhile to try to find one of them and see if they know of any ships coming in, ghostly or otherwise. I imagine that there aren't going to be that many coming in, but...
Again, there was mad chaos, but it certainly doesn't hurt to try.
And honestly, given that we don't have much time, I feel like just sitting around when we easily know that they had a base right across the city, it just seems silly not to investigate.
Well,
That's reasonable.
I bet their cave was more of a base than their temple, but I'm not against the idea.
I think their temple was probably more for them to steal the money of people who are going to pay respect to Umberly than it was for an actual base of operation.
Possibly.
More
And
like pay
that,
ransom.
You know, we know that we have to wait until tomorrow anyway to see if why can't I remember his name? It starts with an F. He was talking about frogs.
Forgus?
Forgus. Thank you. Him. Like, he's not going to give us any information until tomorrow anyway. So it seems like we've done a lot today.
Oh, I know.
So I think checking in on the ghost ship's a good idea, but you know.
Well, what better vantage point than up from the top of the lighthouse, or near the lighthouse at least?
If that's what you want to do.
Could we ask about that on the way to the temple?
Right.
Along the docks?
Absolutely. There'd be plenty of people who'd be willing to talk.
I don't dislike that.
And then we can keep our eyes peeled for any ghost ships. So
I'm obviously fine with it. Again, I'm always good to spill a little blood.
All right. If no one's opposed, let's just go. Let's go right now.
Agreed.
Fine. I'm riding on your back. My legs are tired.
All right, let's go. So we head out briskly. And I guess, do we want to go through, like, the...
Yeah, first I would want to talk to Avantris' contacts about the ghost ship, I think. Because it's probably on the way to Umberly, since it's the opposite side of the city.
Yeah.
So as far as, like, contacts go, I would say that I don't know anybody in particular.
Or, yeah, not just, like, a person that you might know of.
Right, I would say our best bet is to head towards that direction and ask around. I mean, you know, it's not unusual to say, hey, we're looking for some sort of a dockmaster. We're looking for somebody who may have seen such and such. You know, just ask for information.
Right.
Can you show this on
Do we have new fan art?
This is what Kira made of our submarine ship.
We have fan art of the submarine ship.
Hilarious.
Let's see if we can see this. There it is. It's a submarine underwater. What does it say?
It's just sinking, guys. I don't think Red was a good hold on.
I would agree.
Sylvie's a great artificer. World class. World class. Amazing art, Kira.
Awesome.
Amazing art. We love it. We love it. Oh my goodness. Should that be the word of our next giveaway? Submarine.
We'll do it at the very end.
Towards the end.
Towards the end.
Yeah, it's almost 11 now.
Yeah. We'll do it like at 11.
Yeah, we'll do it at 11. So, you make your way up through the docks. And you're asking around, just for the sake of brevity, you get the when you're asking people down towards the south bit of the city, people don't really seem to know anything about a ghost ship. They think that it's, you know, they've heard like wives' tales of ghost ships and the like, you know, old sailors' tales of ghost stories of haunted ships and haunted crews, but no one's really heard any or seen anything about that. You make your way farther north, and you make your way around the docks. The further north you get, people are a little bit more open to the idea, and you kind of get the sense that the Sea Hag's Mouth is further north as well, so kind of weirder stuff might happen. But no one said that they've seen a ghost ship.
And has anyone said they've seen just a normal ship coming in after the attack? Like, is the dock, like, I mean, just generally, like, has the dock kind of been open for business, or?
The dock has been open for business. You can get the sense that the ships that were able to kind of get in before the dragon turtle had started wreaking havoc and the like, and that there may be, but people going from parts of the dock to the other, staying within the harbor, within the bay, not going out, too afraid of the dragon turtle if it's still out there.
Mm-hmm.
You get the sense that people are coming in and out. There is fishing waters within the harbor, or within the bay. It's like a pretty huge bay. So before you get to kind of the more, I guess it's still a massive bay, but the larger bay that goes out into the sea. Okay. So you get the sense that the more you know, no one's seen a ghost ship, but the previous evening was definitely a little bit more misty, and people kind of saw that the moonlight was dancing strange on the mist.
Okay, so I put on my spectroscope and look out into the sea to see if I can find some ghosts.
You have a spectroscope?
Yeah, and it's along with my ectoplasm containment unit.
Dancing strange.
Ghostbusters RPG win?
After the Pokemon RPG.
Yeah.
Yes!
Okay, so we continue on to the Temple of Umberlee. So the Temple of Umberlee is the one built into the ship, the Southern Cross, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And Andy and I have been there. Or Avantris and I. Right?
Correct.
Oh, I guess, I would be following.
Yeah.
Because I've only just heard about it.
So, and the Harry Potter RPG. We have a lot of RPGs to run.
Yeah.
I'm not running any of that shit, so you guys are all welcome to DM that.
Sylvie, not Nikki, Sylvie is going to DM a Harry Potter RPG on Roll20.
Yeah, we should do that.
Wow.
We should have our viewers come in and join us on
Why am I
Roll20.
not wearing my Hufflepuff shirt?
Oh, no.
So you make your way to the Belfry. Even though it's late at this point, it is well into evening, probably approaching midnight. There are a lot of people praying. You get the sense that because it's kind of up and around on the cliff, that there wasn't much that the crooks came up here for. They did not make it that far into here. There wasn't a lot of destruction, but there are a lot of people praying. They're going to church. They're praying. There are a lot of people are in mourning. A lot of people are weeping. You hear the wails of widows, the wails of children who've lost their parents, or parents that lost their children, and people praying, begging, pleading, demanding with their various gods to do something about it. And even this late, it's a surprising, but given the circumstance from the previous day, it's something that you're not entirely surprised by, I guess. And you make your way to the Southern Cross, and you see standing in front of it are two heavily armored sea eagles guarding.
I snap at Ganji.
Are you here to begin the investigation?
Of course.
As I start to look around, man, just like
I need to get that seal on like a flip out badge,
Yeah.
like a police badge.
Make a deception check.
Would I ever like to?
Oh god.
That's to make up for that terrible one I had before. That's not bad. 18.
ooh.
18. He says, "Oh, okay, of course, right in."
Don't you forget it.
Move aside.
He lets you in.
Let's not overstay our role.
Hold on.
Gotta look important.
Yeah, why don't you guys just talk for give me like a second. Give me a second.
Okay.
Let me log in so that I can say that I too am a Hufflepuff.
Gryffindor.
Yeah, we can go around. Yeah, so I'm a Ravenclaw. Fun fact.
Definitely a
I just
Hufflepuff.
don't believe that you're a Hufflepuff. How could you be a Hufflepuff?
Me?
Yeah.
He's totes a Hufflepuff.
How could I be anything
Really?
else? What do you
I'm
think
a
I
Ravenclaw.
was?
I'm on the fence too. I agree. Either one would have been fine.
No, I think I see it. I think I see it definitely more than Ravenclaw.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm definitely
Okay.
Totes a Hufflepuff.
I'm good. Sorry.
Notes.
You step inside and you two, Vandris and Ganja, you've been here before. And as soon as you step inside, the noise changes. The sound from the street outside, this familiar sensation, stop. And it sounds, although the ship is not moving, it sounds like creaking wood. You can almost hear the sound of this rocking sea. Outside of the portholes covered in that stained glass, showing things like sharks and krakens and other various sea creatures. You see that same barnacle-covered altar where Deidre had stood when you first encountered her. And it looks like it's been hastily investigated by the Sea Eagles. Why don't we just make a group perception check? How about that?
Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh my!
9.
Oh jeez. 6.
15.
4.
4.
God damn it, Vandris.
1.
Yeah, we don't perceive
You
shit.
have +0?
With your stuff?
I think it's only like a +2, honestly.
Look it up.
Because it's wisdom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you
Yeah, my perception
can I-
is like shit. Oh, that's a lie. I thought it was for, I thought you said for, never mind, I'm an idiot.
Okay, technically this isn't how it works, but can I use my inspiration to roll again?
No.
I know. I'm supposed to use it before I roll. I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
we can
No, you can
Oh,
do it. You can do
I
it.
misunderstood.
You can
You
do
can do
it.
whatever you want.
If you want to.
Yeah.
You can use
I would-
perception
I
after you roll.
would like to.
No,
Inspiration.
Inspiration.
You can use to
Inspiration.
do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I meant.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a safe.
sweet! Natural 20.
Must have been drinking.
That's a 23 for me then.
I think
Okay.
It's been a while, too.
No,
Daniel,
no.
to be fair.
Okay. You all
Oh,
kind of look
goodness.
around like, well, this is a ship, but also a church. And Ganji,
Accurate.
having been here before with a natural 20!
Yeah. Natural 20
Take
pickle
away.
break.
I love you guys. With his highly perceptive dragon eyes, he notices that Ganji leads the way, I guess, as far as kind of investigating this ship.
Well,
He's
he's a
round
holy
man.
man.
Yeah.
He
And I've
notices,
been here
And
before.
you've been here.
you notice, I guess with that, we'll say with that perception check, it's not even that your sight and sound and smell, you kind of get that same dusty, salty sea ship smell from it, and it kind of, you hear the creaking, and you see kind of, it almost looks like the ship is rocking, but you can't tell if it's your mind playing tricks. Your divine sense feels the very strong presence of a god here, of a god or a goddess, so that although it seems to be abandoned, there seems to be the presence of, you could assume would be Umberly. Still Umberly.
Okay.
Hence all of the creepy shit that's happening. As you look around, though, however, you notice that towards the back of the ship, behind the altar that you had seen her out, so you remember that there's the pews basically in this hold, and then towards the back there's the altar, it was covered in barnacles and the like, draped over with that teal-looking cloth. You see in the back there is a door where it may have been like a captain's quarters and the like of when this ship beached. And you see that the handle has been smashed off.
So I pointed out to everyone that okay. So first, the divine sense.
Yep.
So does it feel like the divine sense of a temple, or does it feel like there's something else going? Like is this?
It feels like the divine sense of a temple.
Okay.
It feels like this is definitely a place touched by a god. Very strong sense. The worshippers here were very likely very devout. Took it very seriously, and Umberly has placed a very strong presence blessing. She is within the temple, similar to when you would be in your grand temple down in Shaitan. You would feel Bahamut in there. It's the similar vibe, but this sinister, chaotic, thrashing presence.
Okay. So kind of like consecrated ground, but whatever the equivalent is for Umberly.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And so the door Did we notice the door before? Like the first time we were here?
No, she was just standing there, creepily, and you kind of were focused on her.
Right.
And you didn't really notice.
So we see the door, and I see that the handle is smashed off, and I point it out to everyone.
You should ask if the Sea Eagles did that.
That's a good question, but I very much doubt it. Okay. I'll walk and lean out the door and ask if the Sea Eagles have been inside or if they've touched anything inside.
What a real investigator would ask.
Yeah.
So
has the crime scene been disturbed?
No, we did an initial sweep searching, making sure it was free of all of the cultists after the High Lord pointed out the traitors from within our ranks, but we were told not to touch anything or investigate too hard, and that we would begin the investigation yesterday. Unfortunately, it was about to be underway, and then the attack happened, and we were drawn away from the belfry.
Understood. Thank you.
We're just here guarding until the investigation, until you guys showed up.
Right. Keep up the good work, and we'll continue
Yes, sir.
here.
We'll keep guarding. And he's like, he feels, you can see he kind of like lifts up a little bit as you compliment his work.
Okay. So this doesn't sound like the work of the Sea Eagles. It sounds like, if I had to guess, Deidre is trying to keep us out of here. Trying to hide whatever they were doing. Whatever might be here might be behind this door. But we have to be careful because this is still consecrated ground that Umberlee has a presence in, and we need to be very careful to watch our
So,
step.
would it be like sacrilegious to dimension door into the room?
I don't.
Your question was better than mine. I was going to ask if Deidre frowns upon lockpicks.
Well, Deidre, I'm sure does, but I don't.
Because I could take you with me.
I don't like the idea of you porting through that door without us knowing what's inside.
Worst case scenario, we'll come right back, or be dead.
Is there a keyhole or anything? That any way we could look through it, or does it look solid?
It looks solid. It's you can see the metal. It's a rusty metal door handle, probably from the weathering, but it seemed to be smashed off. There's no kind of hole to look in there.
Okay, and let me just ask one more question. The dimensions on the outside.
Yep.
Does it look like they match up with the dimension? Does it look like this door would lead into a significant space, based on what the outside looks like?
It would be the size of a captain's quarters on a ship. And this isn't a huge ship, but for a merchant vessel, which you could probably guess this was, it would have been fairly roomy and comfortable as far as a room on a ship this size.
We can rocky-talkie back to you what we see.
And what is the door made out of?
Wood, very heavy wood.
I would. That's probably a better plan than breaking the door down. Which
I figure as long as we're
we never break the door down. We never try.
Yeah.
Or when we do, we.
Well, we didn't break the door in that case. Oh, I thought you were thinking about the hobo that we destroyed.
Oh no,
that's a different story.
We should have broken a door in that instance.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, that didn't happen. It's not canon.
That was pre-stream. There's no proof.
My concern is that we have no idea what traps they let for us.
Yeah.
And if we can get the door open through less mystical means, it might be safer. Well, no, not breaking it down either.
Can you take someone with you through the dimension door? I suppose you can. You were able to grab the captain.
Yeah, I can take one person with me. Medium size or smaller.
Oh, never mind.
How do you know what size you are?
We're all medium except for I think Sylvia.
Yep.
Who is small?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm small.
I didn't read it at my audio.
So standard is medium.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been a fodder for traps.
Well, do you want me to take you?
Is there some lock to pick?
So,
No.
so what I could
like
do, I have two things available to me. I can take Vanderson, and then I'm stuck there. So no, I can't.
I would take.
Can we send Lumian to take a look?
She can't. She has no way to get in.
She's not she can't go through doors. She can just go invisible.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think if
first, let's get some more information. Sylvie, do you still have the wand of detect magic?
Yes, sir. Want me to use it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
You're
I'm
likely
going to use
you're
it.
likely to see a lot of divine magic, but I'm wondering if there's anything more specific about
One
this door.
charge magic wand of detection magic.
Magic wand?
You use your wand on the door, and it glows a bright blue. And you get the sense that it's evocation magic on the door.
It's evocation magic on the door.
That sounds like a trap.
But if it's just on the door,
Do we have any way to dispel it?
What's the wall made out of?
Let me see if I have dispel magic.
Magic man?
yeah, come on,
I
man.
think I prepared it, but I'm not sure.
He's a magic man, Mama.
I definitely don't have any of those things.
Did I prepare it today?
Can I polymorph
I
the door
sure did,
into a
actually.
frog?
Did you?
I did prepare dispel magic.
Holy cow. It's why we bring you, honestly.
All right, are we doing this? I don't know what the response might be.
I'm gonna pull my axe
wait,
out and just be ready.
I have an idea. Why don't I give all of us a gold piece, and we all place a gold piece on the altar to Umberly as an offering to show our good nature towards Umberly that has nothing to do with Deidre, and then we do this.
Didn't really help us last time, but
Whatever,
I'm
it's
not
worth a
opposed.
try.
That's not a bad idea, actually. Do I have any way of? Is there like a religion check to see if that like is a plausible thing that might help?
Sorry, say that one more time.
So if I give everybody a gold piece and we all offer up a gold piece to Umberly before we do this thing,
And like
just
say
to show our
say a
Make
prayer or
a
something?
religion check with advantage.
Okay. Well, fuck. Jesus Christ.
You rolled a 2 and a 3.
Mother-
Very nice.
It's a 9 total.
I'll say that you remember
Shitty roll.
that when you were going before all of this weirdness, you saw people giving coin that they didn't look evil. You know, technically Umberly is an evil goddess, but it seemed that anyone who was willing to give a sacrifice into the clan, anyone who was willing to give a sacrifice of some kind, it seemed that was the way to get to Umberly. So whether or not it's something that you think would work here is another question. And do we want to start the giveaway now before we do all this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's pick a word.
I'm still a fan of Van Dreamy, but that's just me.
Well, I just
Is it hard to spell?
yeah, I don't want to get people
Yeah.
caught up on spelling. Do we just want to do
Well,
submarine?
because we'll
Who cares
know.
about spelling?
Yeah, we
Oh,
can
sorry,
spell it,
we're
we
doing
know.
manually.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
Van Dreamy. Hashtag Van Dreamy is the final giveaway of the night. So if you want to win one of these cool decals, guys,
Or one of your choice. Does it have to be this?
One of
It
your
can
choice,
be any
yeah.
color. We have sparkly colors.
The
It
new
can
ones,
be.
as of today, are the Hootsy ones. I finished that just shortly
Yeah.
before the stream.
a
I
cute
didn't do the
little
art.
owl bear.
So
That is an artist that we commissioned. She's
this is
amazing.
this is his goblin character's adorable owlbear companion. So that's an option as well. She's super cute. Or anything else you want, a color of your choice. We can do the D&D ampersand, the Dampersand.
Yeah.
We can do glitter. We can do.
So yeah, if you're on Facebook, guys, if you're still watching on Facebook, thank you so much. Just please make sure you do this on the Twitch chat.
Yes. in
Hashtag
Twitch chat.
Van Dreamy. We're tabulating everything manually, so
Ooh.
spelling doesn't matter. But we really appreciate you guys watching. So then we'll basically at the end of the session, we'll award the prize.
Yes, Rabbit. This is a glittery pink D20.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Glitter.
Legends of Avantris,
How
where
I
the code
do
words
that.
are made up and the spelling doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we actually have that as a tagline up there in the doobly-doo? Okay.
Oh,
anyway.
hold on. Kira asked if you already won in the past, can you win? Because that was during our Facebook giveaways. So
You
are we
only
considering
if you
it
you can't win again tonight, but if
Yes.
you want a sticker and you haven't won one tonight, please enter. Please do.
There we go. I think that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay. So
Coins.
hashtag Van Dreamy. if you
Hashtag
wanna-
Van Dreamy.
wanna do that.
Thank you guys for tuning in and watching this long. We love you guys.
Okay, so play.
Okay.
So we're gonna donate our coins then.
Yeah, I think it's
I think
reasonable.
it can't hurt.
I'm going to assume that you got your gold from Forcus's barrel before you left. You didn't say that.
Well,
you
so
No,
we
we
didn't
did.
we
we
gave
didn't
it
leave
to
anything in the
Salome.
barrel. We
But
left
your
it-
personal
left Lumi
gold
with
didn't
the
put it
bag
in.
of holding.
I thought we pooled all of our.
Yeah, we
I
pulled
thought-
all
No,
of
you
our
guys
gold.
have whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Sorry.
Hey,
Just
He
saying
gave
about
Lumi
it.
the bag of holding and she waited
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, so anyway, for the thing. Yeah, so we've got our gold.
Okay.
All right. So
I throw a gold piece onto the. Is it on the altar that they do it, or is it?
You saw it in the shell, but when
There's a giant clam.
there was a giant clam. The clam was no longer there when you saw it, but you saw that people had left stuff on the altar as well.
Okay.
all right. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on the altar.
And I'm gonna.
What's
Agreed.
what's a prayer to what would I say if I'm just like, take my gold, Umberly, don't smite me where I stand.
Ganji, I can tell without a roll, Ganji's not an expert of umbrella.
Yeah,
I'm just asking him for like what would be like a thing that you would say to like maybe what he would say to Bahamut, and I'll just put Umberly in there.
Just say what's in your heart.
Okay.
Honestly, I would say
Umberly,
literally exactly what you just told
here
me.
is my gold. Please don't smite me where I stand.
And I put
That was
gold
beautiful.
and say,
Thank you.
I apologize, Umberly, for our presence in your house. Take this sacrifice and allow us to go in peace.
Oh, that was beautiful.
And so I do that,
You flip the 2 gold coins onto the altar.
and I cast Dispel Magic on the door.
I think everybody else was putting their gold on.
Okay.
There.
Yeah, I just followed Genji's suit.
Okay. You all put your gold. You say your small prayer to Umberly, and Ganji waves his hand, touches his holy symbol, and you feel the power of Bahamut kind of come down and for a glimpse of platinum light, your own god having presence in this holy house to Umberly, and you feel the magic fade off the door.
Well,
That seems to have done it.
okay, Rotek, open the door.
I'm shocked you didn't save Avantris.
Well, no, he's the one that didn't want me to
Well,
mention door
there's
inside,
no
so.
lock. There's no lock.
And there's
Just
no,
push
there's
it,
no
push it.
handle.
Yeah, but I'm still the trap fodder. You guys usually throw me in first.
Well, no, if anyone's gonna get hurt, it's gonna be this schmuck. Push it open.
I'm okay with that.
Come on, strong man.
I
Show the door
gently
you're
just
warm.
try to push it, see if it'll open.
Does not.
I give it just a firmer push. Nothing crazy.
Nothing. It's sturdy. By the way, Goochman, as long as you do #VanDreamy, you're entered to win. Okay.
Shall we?
Dimension door inside. What do you think, schmuck? Your way didn't work. He's always so anti-magic. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that he can't do any himself, and he's kind of sad about it.
I attempt to kick in the door.
Don't you dare!
That's
I will
a
try
bad
to stop
idea.
him. I will try to stop him.
Okay.
I cheer him on. Do it! Do it!
Make
Do
an
it!
athletics contest.
Oh, jeez.
Or, okay, yeah, right.
Can I assist?
Yeah.
Acrobatics or athletics?
Athletics.
Oh.
26.
Well, I don't think
19.
neither of us can beat that even on a natty 20.
I could have if we were doing acrobatics versus athletics.
Rodek runs up to the door, and he's sick of all the talking, and he throws his dwarven strength and his. You feel this is a heavy fucking door, but you are just sick of this shit, and you smash the door. It flies into the room, and wait for a second. No one's smitten yet. As soon as the door flies open and the rattling of the wood, the splintering of the wood splinters kind of covers you a little bit, you hear the lapping of the sea, and you feel a sea breeze coming out of this room. And you almost feel like a sea spray coming out, and it doesn't feel like just like the weird, creepy shit. The room
feels real.
The room
Can
is
I-
very dark.
Can I check for like illusion magic to see if?
You should still have detect magic though.
Oh, I do
Yeah.
still have to. Yeah. So is there any magical stuff?
Let's
on
go
it?
slowly.
And again, when you say darkness, very dark, are we talking magical darkness, or can the elves see?
The dark vision people can see. It's dark.
Oh my God.
You see what seems to be an office. It seems to be incredibly decrepit, and these previous captain's chambers, and you hear the lapping of waves coming from this room. You step inside. All around you, you see
although you had seen windows coming out of windows on the external of the side, and that same decorative design with creatures, it is all boarded up on the inside. There is, as you look around, that it looks like wood that is long rotted, covered in barnacles. It almost looks to be the same weathering that you saw in the Pelican's Perch, but this room isn't destroyed. As you look around, there's still a wooden room on all sides. You see a very small desk to the corner with a very just small 3-legged stool. However, the immediate thing you notice, your ears and your eyes and your nose are all drawn to a hole in the center of the room, smashed into the wood, that seems to go down into the earth, the stone, the cliffs beneath. And you can hear the sea and have sea sprays coming out of it.
I'd like to dive head first.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
I was like, I'm gonna let him go because I'm going to.
Yeah, no.
I'm
If you do that, you're on your own, my dude.
Adios, man.
And
100% a joke.
as you walk through, you see black markings. So you get closer to the large hole. It's probably at least 7 by 7 feet into this room, maybe 5 by 5. And you hear the sea spray coming out of it. Some sea mist is coming out. You also notice black chalkings, drawings, etchings all over the walls.
Still in the room.
In the room.
Okay.
All over the walls, all on the floor. And bits and stains of a brownish red amidst all of it.
Does it look like it's a language of some sort?
It's not a language. It seems to be drawing pictures. But it's immediate. It's dark and it's all over the place. It looks like the frantic scribblings of a mad person.
Okay.
Can we make it less dark in here?
That was my plan. I'm gonna take a piece of something. Trying not to break anything. If there's just something that's loose and looks like garbage.
Okay.
Take it, cast light on it, look around.
Okay.
Or actually, no. I pick up Malleus Maleficarum and look around.
As soon as you put your hand and draw Malleus Maleficarum, the gleaming holy warhammer erupts into light and sheds light onto the entire room. You get a much better look at what's around. You look, and it seems as if intentionally you step into the room, that the floorboards have been smashed through, and there is a massive hole. It looks like a giant well or hole. You look down, and as Gany shines his light that goes very far down, basically the entire way to the cliffs, and you can see the lapping sea, at the very least.
So it's not like underground, like Orpheus's hole. It just goes through the cliff down into the ocean below.
At least you see waves. It's not like rough like it's just the ocean, but you see that there is. Yeah.
I do find
Probably just sea level.
I do find a piece of garbage. Cast my light cantrip on it.
Okay.
Drop it down the hole.
You cast light on a piece of like a little small piece of wood.
Yeah.
Splinter wood, or a rock or something, and you drop it. It lights up, and as soon as it gets closer to the sea, it falls in, and you can see that this is seawater down there, but you see the glimmer of skeletons and corpses all in the water as it sinks.
It's the Inferi from Harry Potter.
As you look around, you are getting a better sense of the room. You are seeing manacles that are chained to heavy, what would look like cannonballs. Heavy metal balls.
Oh no.
And all around you finally start to notice the scratchings of charcoal or some other black material all over the floors and the walls. They all seem to depict a similar thing. It appears to be a creature. It looks like maybe it's a sea creature. Very unlike things that you've ever seen. It looks like a combination between an eel, a grotesque eel, and a fish with tentacles coming out of around its face, strange fins, and on each of its heads, wherever this, it doesn't have multiple heads, but you see one on several on the floor. You see several on the wall, several on the ceiling. It's the same creature drawn all over. You see on each of the heads 3 splotches of what seems to be dried blood that would make the form of 3 massive red eyes. And these are hastily sketched, hastily done. It looks like the horrific sketchings of a mad person.
Guys,
No.
these little worm fish monsters have blood eyes.
This is not good.
Literally.
So we're gonna go in the hole.
Could we tell how old the blood is?
Make an investigation check.
Would that be survival or just,
No.
okay.
I would say you're not tracking.
Well, can we have the eyes of Bennett scene?
Those are on Van
Van
Dreamy's face.
Dreamy.
Speaking of which, hashtag Van Dreamy if you want to
Hashtag
win
Van
a
Dreamy.
sticker.
12.
12. You look around and it definitely looks old, but how old you can't tell. It doesn't look like it's fresh. It looks like, and you can probably get the idea that these were done at all different times, and this has just been drawn throughout the use of this room.
And do they look like they've all been drawn by the same person?
The sketchings looks to be all in the same style.
How much rope do we have?
A lot.
A lot.
Tie me up and toss me down?
Can I do an investigation check just around the room to see if I can find anything in addition, like any notes or any other like drawings or anything else in the room that might give us an idea of what's
You
going on?
look around, it's mostly just scratchings. Most of the stuff in the room is all bits and pieces. A lot of it is the chains, the manacles, and the heavy balls.
So
But
there are
you
multiple sets of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Multiple sets. You do, however, find there is a little desk with a stool. You do find that there is a crumpled piece of paper.
Okay. I am going to cast tongues on myself
Okay.
so that I can understand. No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it doesn't work on written things.
It doesn't work on written things, so never mind.
Well, you could look at it
I'm
and
just
see
gonna
if you
look
can
at
read
it.
it.
I just always double check, Be safe. I'm gonna,
What
open it up.
languages does everyone read?
Draconic, common.
Dwarven,
I think just Sylvan. I don't think I've got anything extra.
Elvish. You can also do
Dwarven
Elvish.
common.
I think I
Sylvan, not Elvish?
Elvish is different. Do you speak Sylvan?
Hold on. I
He
had
does
it written
because
down
he's
on
a
my
high
old
elf.
sheet, but I don't have it written down on this digital sheet.
Me neither, and I
Common
speak a
and
bunch.
Gnomish and Sylvan are what I
Anion speaks Dwarvish, Giant, Common, Elvish. Is
Like,
that
just
everything?
speak Elvish and
Orcish?
Common then. I don't know why I thought
Orcish.
Sylvan.
Yeah, I think Vandris only speaks Elvish and
Okay.
maybe.
I'm not proficient in any kind of
Okay,
bullshit.
yeah, me neither.
The hashtag is Van Dreamy.
Oh yeah, anybody that still wants to enter, there's still time. Please type Van Dreamy.
V8.
do
Does someone want to
speak
type
fast.
in? Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk very
True
fast.
Strike Your Face got it.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a hashtag. Just type the word Van Dreamy.
So
There you go.
yeah. This is written in a language you don't understand, but make a intelligence check.
Oh boy.
Your rolls are off.
I know.
I think we've all rolled really poorly tonight.
It's okay. You
I had some pretty
you know
good
how bad
rolls.
my rolls are.
Oh no, it's not a 5. It's a
You
6.
see that it is a note. It is scribbled in a language you don't understand, and it was crumpled up and tossed to the side.
Hmm.
Does anyone have comprehend language?
It doesn't work in written language.
Or tongue. So nothing works in written language.
No, I mean I can when and if we ever level, I can take something that gives me the ability to read all writings, but I don't have it yet. So
well,
keep it, and maybe
let's keep it safe. Yeah. And I pull out a rope and I tie it to my waist.
Okay.
And I hand the other side to Avantris.
Take out the immovable rod. Use it to tie the rope too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that instead. I untie
Yeah, but you'll still have to pull me up if I get into trouble. Don't think that that's an automatic pull rope rod bullshit.
Well, what we can do is we can do the immovable rod, so all of you guys can get down. Then once you guys are down safely, we have our rocky talkies. So you can say, Sylvie, we're down safely, or whatever you do, and then I can do the immovable rod, put it in my bag, and fly down on my broom.
Oh, that's all well and good, but be ready to pull me up.
Let's send
anyone
you
else
down.
heads down.
Avantris, we'll put the immovable rod here. I'll then tie it to myself, and then I'll pass it to you.
And we'll both be ready to pull. We'll both be ready to pull you up.
Okay.
All right. The sound is me screaming. That's the signal.
All right. So, Rodek and I will work together.
Both of you just make a general strength check.
My mage hand will help them.
Giving myself guidance.
Which means it helps in like literally
25.
no way.
That's
Thank God for
9.
You guys are fine.
How
Rodek does
long
most.
in diameter is the hole?
It's probably about 5 to 7 feet wide, so it's pretty big.
Got it.
You're stronger than me.
I begin to rappel down the side.
Rodek does most of the work. You rappel down the side. Are you gonna have a light source? Are you holding the piece of whatever?
Yeah, I have night vision.
Okay, you dark vision. So you rappel down. You get down to the waters. What?
Can you give him like a few light rocks, or is it only one at a time?
Why don't you take the
No,
drift globe
I can
with
just
you?
cast it on another one and give it.
Oh
to
yeah.
Vandris, take the drift globe with you, and I chuck it at him.
Oh right, we have drift globes. So.
You chuck it at him. Vandus grabs it. You're able to just throw it up in the air, and it shines a bright light and follows you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, don't we have that magical flippity flobbity thing? Never mind, doesn't matter. Keep going.
Yes, the flippity floppity.
So
Not
you rappel down the side, and the light of the drift globe follows you down. The magical artifact, one of your first magical items that you found.
Yeah.
You get to the sea level, and you see a skeletal hand kind of gripping a rock coming off from the side, resting in the sea, kind of still rattling around in the seawater. You also see, as you look down, at the very base of the water, similar to that you saw when Ganji threw down the rock, a bloated, drowned corpse kind of hanging like this, or hunched over like this, with its hands bound.
Like floating in the
Fresh?
water.
Floating in the water. It looks
Fresh?
not fresh. Probably looks like it's 2 weeks old, maybe, but it's hard to tell.
It's freshish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freshy.
It's not ancient.
Someone put it
it's
in a
not
glad
like,
bag.
it's not bones, so
And-
that to me is kind of fresh.
And you get down, and there the water is kind of lapping. It's not like rough like it's the actual like sea, but like that it's basically you're gonna go out to the sea, but it's definitely
So it's like an underground cavern.
from what
I'd
you
like to
So there's
investigate
land.
the skeletons and or corpses.
make an investigation check.
Oh, Jesus, Lord Almighty. Poor, very poor. 10.
10. You take a look at them, and it looks as if you see another body, kind of down below the water. The light is shining down. It looks as if whoever was using this office was binding people. It's hard to tell whom. You'd see that the body does not seem to have any of the tattoos, although it's decomposed enough that you might not be able to see. It does not look like it was a cultist, but it seems to just be the one you can see is a human male. And from what you can tell, and it looks like their hands and feet were bound around a metal ball and thrown into the water to be drowned.
Besides the corpses, is there anything else that I see? I mean, I'm close to the water level, right? Like I
You're
don't want to
close
get
to
in
the water level. It looks dark down there. You see a little bit of glint. You see a glint of something at the bottom, but
Wait, the bottom of what?
you see a little glint down there. You think you might see a stony floor of something, but you're not. It's kind of hard to tell from where you are.
How far down am I from from the opening of the hole?
You're probably a good 50, 75 feet down.
Okay, so they can hear me if I shout.
Yeah.
I want to shout up to them that I potentially see something on the floor. I can see the bottom, and I'd like to dive to try to get down to it, so I need some more slack.
So you say that again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just not going to yell at you guys.
So I guess
we have
The Rocky Talkies.
Rocky Talkies.
Oh. Breaker. This is Avantris. Over. No, not over. Sorry. Still getting used to this thing. I'm going to need a little bit more slack because I think I'm going to take a dive. Goose is going in the water here. Over.
Roger.
When do we give him the goose?
Do I have slack?
You can get slack.
Okay, so I'm gonna feed you some more slack.
Okay.
As soon as I hit the water, I would like to swim towards the glinting in the bottom.
Oh, Jesus.
You have the drift globe. It follows you into the water. You hit the water. It is cold, but you've fallen overboard on ships before. It's not something that you've almost drowned a few times. Something that you're unaccustomed to. You dive into the water. It takes a while for your eyes to get accustomed to the briny water. It hurts and stings a little bit, and it's dark, but the drift globe illuminates. You get a chance. You are in what seems to be a subterranean sea cavern. You can see off to the side. There might be a little path that goes out into the open ocean, out past the cliffs of Gullhaven.
So where I am though is contained minus that path.
Yes.
And it's not like rapid
Yes.
current or anything.
Correct. There seems to be a very large hole. You look around, and there are dozens of skeletons, corpses in various states of decay, and tons of sets of manacles and heavy metal balls all over the floor.
Investigation for anything interesting.
Make an investigation check.
Much better. I rolled a 15 plus my investigation of 8 is 23.
23. You look around and you find, you see someone that looks like it may have been, the clothing is not fully decomposed. It looks like maybe a caster or priest of some kind. And you find a small white, or a white pearl, fairly large. You find it and you pick it off the bottom of the sea. You look around and it looks like basically just corpses and corpses and corpses of dozens of drowned people. And you look, however, and you see something that stands out. What looks like a huge, membranous, torn open, almost like an egg. As if there had been a massive, strange, membranous-looking egg that was relatively recently ripped open.
I begin to frantically pull on the rope.
Okay.
We pull them up.
Okay, you pull them up, you look around, nothing's coming for you, but you manage to hold your breath long enough to do that. They pull you up effortlessly with Rodek's strength check. And you're soaking wet, completely soaking wet, but...
Oh, Jesus. Corpses everywhere. And something that looked like a hatched egg.
And you were in the water with it.
I mean, it was just a membrane. It was torn apart. It looked like it had hatched. It was nothing but what looked like sacrifices and this egg membrane thing. I found this pearl. Put it in the bag. I don't think it's pertinent. Just, I can't go back down.
How big was this egg?
Enormous.
Massive.
Bigger than you? How big are we talking?
It was... You would have known it was probably like, if you had to say the size of like a huge creature, it would be that, which is like, 6
So, would it have looked like the kraken that we killed a few days ago?
Does it?
Could have hatched from it.
Size-wise.
Say that
Look,
in...
we've seen multiple
Yes.
otherworldly sea creatures at this point. I don't know. It could be anything. It could. I don't know.
The real question here is which one of us is proficient in egg birth?
We all proceed to look at each other.
I don't
Slightly
know if you
confused.
guys have noticed, but happen to be male, so I'm not.
But you came from
You
an
could
egg.
sit on an egg.
That's true.
Didn't you? You came here a dragon
Was there-
person, right?
I actually don't know how that works, but I think my headcanon is yes, eggs.
Mommy, where does Ganji come from?
So hold on. Was there anything else to investigate?
I mean, it was. Look, I took a good look while I was down there. I found that pearl, and I mean, when I say there were it was a graveyard down there. It was nothing but bodies and skeletons, all weighted down to the bottom, and then that egg.
I guess that's what they mean by sacrifices dumbrily.
Selby, do you want to go down and just do one pass around?
Who's Shelby?
Selby?
You keep
That's
asking.
you.
Oh, my name's Sylvie.
That's what I said, Selby.
Okay, Shelby will go look down. If you, I just don't see why we don't all go.
Are you guys gonna go?
Is there any ground? There's no ground, right? Was there any
There
ground?
was a bottom, yes.
There was a bottom to the sea, but it was basically
nowhere to stand.
Vandris. I will say that Vandris basically saw most of it. With the investigation roll, he saw most of it, and
I rolled pretty high. I mean, I can't.
Unless you wanted to not believe him.
Okay, then.
I believe him.
I just thought, in his freaking out and wanting to come up was a whole half the cavern with
It looked like it kind of went out to the sea for.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Never
It was an
mind.
enclosed area with what looked like some sort of an exit or a flow through
An
out to
egg
the open.
sit?
Yes, an egg sit.
Oh my god.
Well, we know that somebody was mad and hatched some kind of thing.
Well, could it be the turtle? Did you already say that?
Well,
Ganji did mention a summoning, though.
it could be. I believe it's possible that it's one of these creatures here, which would make sense.
Turtles come from eggs, just saying.
And we fought a kraken. Which do they come from eggs? Would I know that? I probably would.
They're reptilians, and we could probably guess so.
Well, no, they're like octopuses.
They're like.
Oh right.
Yeah,
You
they're
don't
like squeeze.
you don't know, but I mean, you could probably assume that a horrible creature like that could come from that size.
Okay.
I forgot that quickly.
So
For some reason.
I'm like, yeah, sure.
it's hard to say. Hopefully we killed it, but who knows?
Well, I don't know that there's much else we can do right now.
Let's go to bed.
I agree. Let's. I want to investigate the rest of the temple.
Okay. You look around, and it seems like that was the most the thing. It's basically what Vandris and Ganji had seen. Seems like this was the main dark bolt shit that was going on. Everything else looks like a church with you probably find 20 pieces of sacrifice gold if you want to steal it from the church.
Fuck no.
But
I think we'll pull it together and put it on the altar with
okay,
everything else.
you pull it all together, and yeah, it basically just looks like a church and all the pews, and that was really the main thrust of it.
All right. Well, let's head back carefully.
I talked to the guards. So we found several bodies in there. It seems that the cult was sacrificing non-members and disposing of the corpses. There's a room in the back of the church that we entered. We had to disarm a trap to do so. So when there will probably be another team of investigators coming. Warn them that there may be more traps and that there were bodies and crimes to be found.
Absolutely, of course.
And keep in mind it is still consecrated ground, and we need to be any disturbances we need to be careful with.
Absolutely, of course.
And in the meantime, keep up the good work and guard it well.
We will. Thank you. Post. Yes, sir. And so they see you off.
All right. Well, I think we need to find someone that can read that.
Yeah.
Can we tell what script it's in?
It doesn't look like anything we've seen
It
at all.
doesn't look like any language I don't think that we've seen.
Okay.
We may need to retcon that. I need to think about it. If I were
Maybe Vito might know.
All right. Well, I'll keep my eyes in the horizon for a ghost ship. But let's.
So you're gonna walk kind of back along the docks.
Yeah.
again? Okay.
Agreed.
Just keeping an eye out on the ocean,
Okay.
getting back to...
I want you to make a perception check, Roman.
Me?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Inspiration die.
It looks like a 2 or a 1.
Do
from
I
my
have an
perspective.
inspiration?
Yeah, I thought you gave us
No,
inspiration.
you're
No, I didn't
Oh,
guys
It's
get
just
one.
you and I that have one.
Oh,
It was,
right.
yeah, Sylvie and Ganji.
7.
You keep an eye out. I want everyone else to make a perception check. Important. There's a distinction here.
That is an 18 for me, I think.
20 for me.
Yeah.
5.
You look around and you keep an eye. 18. You keep an eye out on the harbor and the bay. It does seem to be a bit misty out around the lighthouse, but you don't see any ghost ships. You're thinking that this guy might be crazy. However, you're walking along the docks and you see a gentleman muttering to himself. And he seems to look scared.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah? Yes?
Is everything all right?
No, I
You
met,
saw the ghost ship.
I met a
didn't you?
ghost. I didn't
Well,
see.
you met a ghost.
I met a, he came out of a boat. He looked, wait, and he looks at Avantris, and he looks down at the rapier at your side. You have a black rapier.
I do.
A gentleman got off a boat. He had a huge hat, and a great white beard, and he was looking for a man with a black rapier.
How long ago did this happen?
This happened last night.
And you haven't seen this individual
Oh,
since?
yeah. No, I said I didn't know. He looked pale. He looked ghostly, and he asked where he could get a drink and a woman, and I told him to go to Bellevers to the Mon Ami. I couldn't believe that he didn't kill me, and the scariest part, he had a cutlass that was bigger than any cutlass I had seen, and there was an eyeball in the hilt, in the pommel.
Do you think this gentleman actually went to the Mon Ami?
He's once I thought he was going to kill me after he asked me if I knew who someone named Adelaide Blue was, and then he asked me for a man with a black rapier, and then he asked me for a drink and a woman, and at least I could tell him that. I feel like if I didn't tell him that third question, he would have killed me.
Adelaide what?
Adelaide Blue.
B-L-U-E?
Adelaide Blue. That's what I think I heard.
What's your name, friend?
My name is Jelvis.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask that same question.
Oh.
Where along the docks did this happen?
This happened just a bit north of here, just not too far from the furthest north docks near the lighthouse.
Is his boat still there?
Jelvis.
Like Elvis with the J.
Is his boat still there?
He stepped out of the boat, and that was the thing, this long whale boat, and he yelled at it, and it whipped up into a little box, and he put it in his coat.
Interesting.
Well, this is peculiar, I
Yeah.
would say.
I wish I could put whales in my coat.
Now, you need to calm down, friend. Did anyone else see this?
No, I told people, and they said I was crazy.
Well, you're definitely not crazy.
They told me that it was probably just from the attack.
Where do you live? Do you live around here?
I'm not too far down south.
Well, Jelvis, don't you worry. We will investigate. Please don't think one more ounce about this.
Show the sigil so he knows. We're friends of Amalia.
We're with the city.
We're with the city, and
Thank you.
and it's fine. What you told us is incredibly helpful, and don't listen to what everybody says. People say I'm crazy all the time, and I don't believe it.
Okay, I thank you. Just be careful. He looked like a very dangerous man on a very serious mission. If he's looking for a man with a black rapier, and it happens to be you, I don't know.
He wouldn't be the first dangerous person looking for me. We can handle ourselves. We appreciate it.
Thank you for your help, friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I hope you find it. I hope I'm not crazy.
You're not.
You're not crazy.
Okay.
Keep your wits about you, friend.
And with that, you all walk off into the cool evening, and that's where we'll end the session.
Yay! And we'll do our giveaway.
And we'll do the giveaway. We'll announce the giveaway.
So you guys just
Yeah.
talk while I try and figure it out.
What time is it?
I'm happy to talk. So what I want to say, just as a general, I've been kind of throwing this out there since we've been switching to Twitch or whatever. Is that
I'd love to.
I don't know how many people are currently on Facebook, but I haven't been really like watching Facebook since we switched to Twitch. Please make the effort to come hang out on Twitch.
Yes.
Twitch chat is awesome. They are
Yes.
super responsive and having a good time, and everybody's real talkative over here. And it's really cool. So the more people we can get on Twitch chat, the more awesome it'll be.
And so I think that if you please like our Twitch and also join Discord.
Oh yeah, if anybody wants to join us at Discord for shenanigans, it is in
Yeah.
our information in the
Yes.
one of the boxes. I don't know what you call it in Twitch, but if you go to our information below the stream, you will see a link to the Discord. Feel free to click on that and join us.
And fun thing, tomorrow on Thursday nights during Critical Role, we actually all get into our Critical Role channel on Discord and all talk about the episode, basically about how Jester a best and Fjord is best husbando. But I mean, come and watch Critical Role with us. It's fun. We may be in voice or chat. So that's something we do on Thursdays if you're in Critical Role.
It's a good
And
time.
so I think we're almost ready to announce our winner.
We are. Do you want to say it out loud?
We'll say it out loud, yeah.
It's True Strike Your Face.
True Strike Your Face wins with you cast True Strike, the best cantrip in the game, and he wins a decal of his choice. True Strike Your Face,
Let me go.
please
Message us.
message us Discord or Twitch or Facebook,
Yeah.
whichever way you're
like
comfortable
any
with.
of them.
Any of them, with your
And
details.
we'll
and
talk.
and we'll set up what
Yeah,
you want
and
to
tell me
get.
what you want.
Tell us what you want, fam.
Tell us what you want. What color do you want?
What color? Okay. I don't know. With that,
Yeah.
I think we don't have any other announcements. Thank you guys so much for watching.
We
We
don't.
love you guys.
We have fake campaign on Monday.
Fake campaign on Monday. We'll be
Shots
shooting
in.
again. And so yeah, we'll be back on Monday with the fake campaign. Come hang out, watch Critical Role with
I
us.
would wait till that.
And then I think we're good to go. Thank you so much, guys. Have a wonderful
Yeah,
night.
thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Have a good night.
Thanks for coming out.
Bye.
See you guys.